Meet Sage Copilot, your new AI productivity assistant that automates tasks to keep your business running smoothly.
Copilot, help me pay my suppliers this week.
So, if you're a barber like Alfie, it could mean spending more time on what really matters, like more back and sides for his customers.
Oh, perfect. Cheers, Alfie.
Small businesses could save 4 days a month on financial admin. Search Sage Copilot to get early access today. Sage, helping business flow.
The Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast.
With Lucas Land Rover. Looking to sell your Land Rover? Contact them today for a no-obligation quotation.
Scottish football's league leader. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Full time in the first game of the brand new season. Not a goal to cheer, but enough entertainment, I think, to keep us all going for now. Hearts 0, Rangers 0. Any time Rangers or Celtic drop points, particularly in the opening day, there will be a backlash. Of course there will. Let's see what that backlash looks like. Credit to Hearts, they were good. Credit to Rangers because they had chances, although they clearly performance level wasn't at its best. So you can decide, you can let us know. Is it a case of trying to be bigger picture about it all and realise that over the course of a season drawing at Tynecastle is not the end of the world, or are the alarm bells ringing? You can decide. We'll do what we often do with an early kick-off. We will open the phone lines early, so if you want to get your thoughts in, you can do, but understandably can't go wall-to-wall calls. We've got other football to give a bit of attention to as well, and it deserves it. So please do join us in the phone lines, give us a call, and we'll work our way through them between now and 6 o'clock. How would you sum it up, Rangers fans? Can you take a draw on the chin, or are the alarm bells ringing? Tell us right now, please. We have one other game in the Premiership this afternoon. It comes at Fir Park. It's Motherwell against Ross County, and Andrew McLean is there.
Yeah, the sun's shining, pitch is looking absolutely magnificent, as you'd expect here at Fir Park. It always does. Plenty of fans roaming about in their new tops for the new season as well. Good to have the Premiership back. Of course, we have seen these two sides in competitive action so far in the Premier Sports Cup group stage. Motherwell and Ross County both topping their respective groups. Stuart Kettlewell heading into the new season, first of all looking to put the drama of that failed takeover bid behind him. That caused a lot of stir, didn't it, amongst the supporters, amongst the club over the last few months, but also trying to find that bit more consistency in his side across the campaign. He said already they're targeting improvement, they're targeting a top 6 place this season, and this is the proper start really of the Don Cowie era at the Staggies after being appointed their permanent boss in the summer. Anything above the relegation playoff place for them will be progress. Looking at the starting lineups for the home side, Motherwell, Aston Oxborough in goal for them. The back 5, Stephen O'Donnell, Dan Casey, Liam Gordon, Shane Blaney and Ewan Wilson. The midfield 3, Andy Halliday, Lennon Miller and Davor Dravkovsky. It's Moses Ibiye and Zach Robinson up top. The substitutes, Heggie, Seddon, Balmer, Sparrow, new striker Apostolos Stamatolopoulos. You lot better get used to saying that name. Paul McGinn, the captain, on the bench as well. Ross Callaghan, Marvin Coletta and Dylan Wells as well. For the visitors, Ross Laidlaw in goal. The back 5, James Brown, Akil Wright, Will Nightingale, Ryan Leake and George Harman. The midfield 3, Victor Villaturi, Conor Randall and Jack Grieve, Ronan Hale and Jordan White. The strike force, the substitutes, Hamilton, Chilvers, Denham, Telfer, Affetti, Samuel, Brophy, McLeod and Reid. The referee here at Fir Park today is John Beaton. The VAR is Kevin Clancy.
You've got the new Motherwell top on in here, Gordon?
Yeah, got the new one. I'm looking forward to a big season. A lot of changes, lost a lot of good players, lost a lot of goals. We look at Spittle today coming on for Hearts, and you look at Bear, but great money for him. We wish them all the best, but let's see what Motherwell can produce, and it's a good opportunity to get off to a good start. They're at home to Ross County. I'm expecting a good game there.
I've got a feeling it's going to be a tough season for Stuart Kettlewell. He's done well to continue to, bring in other players to reinvent the side and to get goals. I mean, none more so than Bear. We all stood here last season and thought Bear's going to be a bit part player and maybe come on here and there. He turned him into a fantastic player and sold him on. But to do it time and time again, a bit of the kind of David Martindale kind of factor about that he kept doing it and kept surviving. I wonder if taking Bear and Spittle out the side creatively is going to really impact him. Of course, they've still got good players there, and Lennon Miller's pick of the bunch. It's a big season for him, but a big season can't for Motherwell if they can hang on to him past August.
I think it's a pest of a game for Motherwell. because if you were to lose your but that makes it even worse if you don't do well and drop points. You know, for me, Ross County, they're always flirting with playoffs or relegation, but now it's the Cowie brothers in charge of the team, and I just get the impression that he's lost a great player in Jan Danda, of course, Don Cowie.
Simon Murray.
Yeah, Simon Murray, who's going to be a sensational signing for Dundee, starting tomorrow, I suspect. I just think for Motherwell, it's a pest.
I've not been impressed in the pre-season games I've seen, I've got to say, but forget about pre-season. I know what you're saying. I think that Motherwell, like Mark has highlighted there, I think it could be a difficult season, but the only plus I take from it is I think that teams like St Johnstone, Ross County, as you mentioned, I think Dundee United, teams like that may struggle this season as well. But the point I'm making is, I totally agree that Ross County, but it's at home. I'd rather much, as a manager, have a first start at home to see if I can get that 3 points and get myself going.
29 goals I've got from last season out the team for Ross County between Murray and Danda, and 28 out the team between Spittal and Bear. So I suppose recruitment does get called into question. Andrew McLean, Stammer as we'll call him, is on the bench this afternoon. He's not long arrived and got work permits and so on sorted out. But I suppose you're looking for who's already there that can be much better or who can improve, and clearly Lennon Miller's going to be in the spotlight for that.
Yeah, Lennon Miller is going to be in the spotlight because he's been so impressive at such a young age over an extended period as well. Over the course of the whole of last season, he was one of Motherwell's top performers, and you would expect the trajectory he's on, he's just going to get better and better this season. The one thing Motherwell need to do this summer is try and keep a hold of him because he is so good. They'll want to hopefully see if they can get 1-2 more seasons out of him, but when you've got a player showing that much quality at a young age, clubs will be knocking on the door. You speak to some other Motherwell players who have trained with him, who play with him, and they talk about just how good he is on the ball, how composed, how mature he is for his age. So he will be the player you'd think pulling the strings in the middle of the park for Motherwell this season, which is quite impressive. But then you look forward, yes, Apostolos Stamatopoulos, he's the one that they'll be looking to for goals. Zach Robinson as well, that's been brought in, had time at Dundee. Moses Abiye, he's had time to settle in as well after coming in late last season. But as you say, Ross County have goals to replace as well. You wonder whether Ronan Hale could be the man for them, because he's come in from Cliftonville, where he'd scored consistently for a couple of seasons, 3 goals in 2 League Cup matches for them. We've had it before where we looked at the form of players, looked at the form of team in League Cup group matches, and you think someone's going to be brilliant or someone doesn't look great, and the complete opposite happens. But certainly good signs for Ross County and Ronan Hale as well.
Yeah, I mean, Lennon Miller said during the week he felt like a boy last season, feels like a man now. I mean, he's driving and everything now, so you know it's a big turnaround.
Could he come and get me at 6 o'clock?
Hugh Keevins. But Mark, I think we've noticed that even in the League Cup games in pre-season, whether Motherwell have been great or not, to take Gordon's point, he looks like there's a bit more of a swagger there, or almost an expectation on himself that he can be the main man rather than someone coming into the team. He's taking a lot more of the set pieces and he's been taking the penalties, and it seems like, and by the way, with that I'm sure comes the challenge of don't try too hard, don't force it, but it kind of looks like he feels different about it all.
Well, I think, you know, when you're a young player like Lennon Miller, it's hard to ignore the press, you know, furore around you and what people are saying about you. You know, you try and block it as much as possible, but that seeps in, of course, and I think you can either react to it in 2 ways. You can let it go to your head and it has a detrimental effect on your game, or you can embrace it and it can make you feel more confident when you go on the pitch. Now it looks like it's a lot. It looks like he looks more confident on the pitch now. It looks like he knows he's the main talent within that side. That can only prove to be a good thing, and I think when you take Spittle away from that side, he'll probably understand now that he's the main man who has to create for this side.
I think the superior know they're superior, and it's the fact that they know and have the swagger that makes them superior. I just think he's a natural, and it's right. He's still young-ish, but you know, we've seen players during the Euros who are even younger than him lighting up the place. So he knows he's good. That's your only other Premiership offering today. Want your reaction, please, to Tynecastle. How do you feel about it, Rangers fans? 01419511025.
and we'll start the calls flowing when we can. We do have 3 o'clock games though, and we're going to, of course, considering there's only one 3 o'clock game in the top flight, we're going to dip into the Championship, which looks sensational this season, and we'll do.
Meet Sage Copilot, your new AI productivity assistant that understands natural language so you can get straight to what you need.
Copilot, draft emails, chase unpaid invoices.
So, if you're a baker, like Diana, it could mean spending more time on what really matters. That's more carrot cake she can bake. Small businesses could save 4 days a month on financial admin. Search Sage Copilot to get early access today. Sage, helping business flow.
Up next.
The team with the biggest support in Glasgow and the West. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
If you're just joining us, you have missed the fact that it was Hearts 0, Rangers 0 on game 1 of the 2024-25 Scottish Premiership season. It was actually a good game, don't be fooled by the scoreline. Hearts started really well, they had some good chances. Rangers' performance level probably never hit to where Philippe Clement would want, but they too could have won it, and in the end a share of the spoils on the opening day. So how do you feel about it, Rangers fans? That's the big question. Give us a call, because quite often, like we did last season, if there's an early kick-off, we'll open the phone lines early. So 01419511025. But we've got other fish to fry as well, because one game we've already told you about in the Premiership, Motherwell Ross County. This could be the Championship season of all Championship seasons, because on paper they all look so incredibly well matched. Fraser, Wisher, welcome back. Happy new season. Are you witnessing at least one team who would really fancy a crack at this title?
Yeah, thanks Gordon, delighted to be back yet again on Radio Clyde, and looking forward to seeing, just say, in the Championship, when you look at it, there's little difference between the 10 teams in a division. No part-time teams, since Arbroath were relegated. Falkirk, Accies, Livy, they're all now in the league as well, and I think that means that there's no big team with a bigger budget than the rest, like Dundee United did last season. So they're all trying to get the same players, they're all trying to scramble around to sign the same types of players as well. So I think it's going to be very close, but this is one of the best days of the season. It's the opening game, it's a proper start to the season. As Andy McLean was saying, pitch is looking great, new strips, fans full of hope. And for both Thistle and Morton supporters, I think it'll be no different. They will look at the other Championship teams. I think this will be their season, but any of the teams could be challenged at the top, or any of them could be finding themselves at the bottom, fighting against relegation. So I think getting off to a good start will be on the minds of both Chris Doolan and Dougie Imrie. Both been busy in the transfer market over the summer. Thistle 7 new players so far added. Young Spurs left back Charlie Sayre yesterday, and Morton complete overall 12 new players, and they've been looking at lower leagues in England, but have signed Ali Crawford late last night. He starts today, he's on a short-term deal. So Thistle the better of the League Cup qualifying group campaigns. The two teams are in decent form, but I think if they are to win the Championship, home wins and home form will be absolutely vital if they are to achieve that golden promotion place at the end of this season. 4-2-3-1 for Partick Thistle. A penalties win against Motherwell. 3 changes to the penalty win against Motherwell last week. Roberts, Chalmers and O'Reilly in. McCready, Muirhead and Mackay are out. So Miles Roberts in goals, while Siri Williams, Luke Macbeth, Dan O'Reilly and Harry Milne into the back four. Kyle Turner and Scott Robinson in midfield. Logan Chalmers, Robbie Crawford and Aidan Fitzpatrick are behind the lone striker, experienced Brian Graham. Mason McCready, Stuart Bannigan, Lee Ashcroft, Ben Stanley, James Lyons, Xander McKenzie and Rico Diak are on the bench for Partick Thistle. A similar formation, 4-2-3-1 for Morton for the win against Alloa last week. They made 4 changes. Boyce, Crawford, Garrity and the Jet come in, with Blues, Gillespie and Reynolds and Davis dropping to the bench. They go with Ryan Mullen in goals, Kelly Ballantyne, Kirk Broadfoot, Morgan Boys and Zach Delaney at the back. Ali Crawford and Ian Wilson in midfield, and Michael Garrity, Aaron Lyle and Owen Moffat behind J. Emmanuel Thomas. The subs for Morton: Gary Woods, Jack Baird, Cameron Blues, Jordan Davis, Lamar Reynolds, Grant Gillespie, Alex King and Logan O'Boy. And the referee today, with no VAR to help him, is Colin Stephen.
Go on then, who's going to win the Championship, Fraser Wisher? Take your pick.
Partick Thistle.
It
must be that year.
Man, Fraser.
Just because they pay your wages, like, who cares?
Yeah, man.
They sack you if
we want Thistle up, they're a big club.
I think the dreadful news for Chris Doolan is that I picked them to win as well.
My goodness.
Me too. I'm on that.
Well, Thistle fans hate you. You're just trying to get back in the good
No,
books.
I did the show with Big Brian the other night. I loved him. I hope he's on every Thursday.
I was going to say, you said it's the best Thursday you've ever had on here.
And by the way, he had a terrific Partick training top on. He comes in with old
I get the youth academy stuff. I didn't get it first.
I think that might be the women's training top. Because obviously he's the head coach of the women's team. It was nice, wasn't it? But you'll think Thistle?
Yeah.
To be fair though, Fraser and we're about to go to Hamilton in a second, but Ayr United have, invested a bit in that team, and Scott Brown's there, Wraith Rovers were there or thereabouts. You just never know what Livy and David Martindale can come up with. There is a lot to like about that division, isn't there?
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely terrific. I think every game's going to be really close, Gordon. I think it's going to be perhaps just the teams with that one or two players that could go and win a tight match. I think there may be a lot of draws. I think Dunfermline might struggle this year. I think the Accies maybe find themselves down towards the bottom. I think Morton might not find themselves at the top half of the table as well. You mentioned a lot of teams there. Airdrie, terrific last season, made a lot of signings as well. So Falkirk with the momentum, I think will get to top 4 as well. Your top manager, top coach, John McGlynn. So every single game we have in the Championship, every single game we watch in the Championship will be so difficult to call. I think it's going to be a fantastic league this season.
There we are, so we're looking forward to that for sure. More from Fraser later. What about the other game in that division, Hamilton against Ayr United? Dave Galloway is there.
Yeah, there's never a dull moment in Scottish football, Gordon, and what a fraught few days it has been for Hamilton, with a reported mass walkout by players and coaches after some didn't receive their July wages. It's hopefully all now resolved, but this is anything but the ideal preparation for Aki's Championship return. Let's see if matters off the pitch will have any influence over what happens on it. United come here looking to build on a decent League Cup group campaign, where they won 3 games out of 4 and only goal difference denied them a place in the last 16. They've actually played 8 matches so far and only lost to Dundee United. Overall then, boss Scott Brown is happy with his team's pre-season progress. Hopefully an entertaining clash lies ahead as both sides target a flying start. Let's look at the teams then. One change only for Hamilton Accies. It's Charlie Albinson. He'll be in goals in place of Dean Linus. So it's Charlie Albinson in goals, a back 4 of Stephen Henry, Sean McGinty, Lee Kildare and Regan Tumulty. Midfield Scott Martin, Jamie Barjonas and Kyle McDonald. Up front, Ollie Shaw is supported by Kevin O'Hara and Stephen Bradley. The subs for Hamilton: Linus, Henderson, Maguire, Murray, Todorov, O'Connor, Newbury, Morgan and Neeson. United, a couple of changes to tell you about for them. In come Frankie Masonda and Jake Hasty. Out drop Dylan Wattrit and Jamie Murphy. So it's Harry Stone in goals across the back for the honest men. Frankie Masonda, George Stanger, Scott McMahon and Pat Redding. Midfield, Jay Henderson, Marco Roos, Ben Dempsey and Jake Hasty. Up top, it's the strike force of Anton Dowds and George Oakley. The subs: Russell, McAllister, Bryden, Murphy, Silla, Walker, Mackenzie, Tomlinson and Wattrit. And your match referee here is Lloyd Wilson.
There we go, looking forward to that one. It should be an interesting encounter. Hamilton against Ayr, Partick Thistle Morton are our 2 featured Championship games today, with Motherwell Ross County, and of course we had Hearts against Rangers that finished goalless. Now you 3 at some point this afternoon, or will we just do it right now? Is it predictions time?
Yeah,
I think it probably is.
No, don't do it now.
I think it probably is, and I'll be looking for some input from you on Twitter in the near future, but I've got something special up my sleeve for you. But I just wonder, because we always do it on the opening weekend of the season. Go on then, take it away.
What do you want to know?
Who's going to win the Scottish Premiership?
Celtic.
Full house.
Fraser Wishart.
Celtic, yes, Celtic for me.
Who's going to finish second? No jokes in there. Okay, all of you, I take it. Right, fine. Okay.
Rangers, yeah.
Right, that's fine. Hugh Keevins, third. I'll not make you do all 12 right now, but third.
Aberdeen.
Hearts. Kilmarnock.
Ooh, former Ayr United manager as well. Fraser Wishart.
I'm going for Hearts as well.
So you've had a wee look at Hearts today.
I liked Hearts today.
Chance to change
but do you know something? I think Hearts are Kilmarnock are a very strong outfit. Great season last season, and obviously still at Rugby Park. I think they'll win a lot of games. So I'm sticking with Derek McInnes and Kilmarnock.
Okay, in the interests of speed, we'll just do some. I'll maybe get your full 12 later. Second bottom, Hugh.
Ross County.
Playoffs.
Ross County.
Dundee United.
Ooh. Fraser.
Ross County.
And straight down the trapdoor,
St Johnstone.
St Johnstone.
Full house.
Fraser.
Yeah, Full house for me, St Johnstone.
Wow. The Sainties, Craig Levine will not be happy. Andrew McLean, have you done yours? Have you filled out your form? Would you like to share it?
Yeah, I have indeed. I've gone for Celtic to finish top, Rangers second, Hearts third. I've gone Dundee United in 11th, and also, St Johnstone bottom as well.
My goodness, nobody's giving the Saints any love whatsoever. Look, we'll get a video together, we'll put these online. We do always ask you, even more ludicrous than asking who's going to win the league, we ask you for like player of the year. I don't know how you're supposed to predict it at this point, but throw some names at me, give me something to beat you with come May. Did you not go Danilo last year?
He's doubled down and went Danilo again.
Let me tell you, I've went one this afternoon that's let me down big time. Diamandi.
There's still time.
Great pre-season. I was hoping for big high things.
Gordon thinks Diamandi player of the year. Mark?
Carter Vickers.
Okay.
Kyogo.
Fraser?
I was going to go with Matt O'Reilly, but I'm not sure he'll be here for the whole season, so I'm going to go with Kyogo for me.
Andrew McLean.
Lots of goals this year.
Yeah, in the absence, if Matt O'Reilly leaves, I'll go Rio Hatate.
But Matt O'Reilly if he stays?
Yes.
Right, okay. I'm not hearing anything too controversial yet. I'll maybe get the full 12 off you lot later on.
Wait to hear Jim Duffy.
Yeah, listen, all the pundits have been asked to do it. We'll get a video up very soon. You can all save it, bookmark it, screenshot, whatever you want, and ridicule them all ferociously come the end of the season. I'll look for your input on Twitter as well at Clyde SSB once we return, but we are about to get up and running. Fraser, we'll open the phones early just quickly before we let you go and enjoy Thistle Morton. What do you make of the opening day events at Tynecastle?
Yeah, it sounded like a great game. I only saw bits and pieces of it, Gordon, and for the Scottish game I always look at that, and it's a good advert for the Scottish game when we're live on Sky Television and everybody's watching the game as well, so that was good. You're discussing from the Rangers perspective, was it a good or bad result? I think it's a decent result. I think the start of the season, Conor Barron, the only new player that starts for whatever reason, some not maybe up to speed, some maybe not up to the standard yet, as Philippe Clement says, but on a day when Rangers are going to a really tough place, I think Hearts will be much better than they were last year. I think they're going to challenge the Old Firm on the pitch in the 90 minutes. Then I think it's a decent result for Rangers, and a more positive one than a negative one.
But do you agree with that, Rangers fans? Let us know, 01419511025. We will take calls next. It's just been a busy Saturday, and kick-off in your 3 o'clock games is about to follow.
The winning team all season long. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Hugh Keevins, Mark Wilson and Gordon Dalziel are here on day one of the new league season in Scotland, and it's been an interesting start. It was a great game at Tynecastle, no goals though, Hearts 0, Rangers 0, and we're asking for your reaction on the phones right now, 01419511025. Only one Premiership game this afternoon, which comes at Fir Park between Motherwell and Ross County. We've got 2 featured matches in the Championship as well, Partick Morton and Hamilton Ayr United. None of you could get the right scoreline at Tynecastle. Mark Wilson, well done, you got the right outcome. You said it would be a draw.
A draw, not much between the sides, I did say.
What about our 3 featured games this afternoon, Hugh?
I'll take Motherwell to beat Ross County, Thistle to beat Morton, and Brunei to have an away win for Ayr United at Hamilton.
I think it'll be a draw for Park between Motherwell and Ross County. I'll go for Thistle to beat Morton, and I'm with Hugh. I think Ayr United will beat Hamilton.
I'm with Mark. Totally agree with that.
Boring. Okay, let's go.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard. Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. Get your essential medicines and vaccines before you head off on holiday.
And just like that, we really are up and running. Yes, I know there was Friday night football, and yes, I know there was an early kick-off at Tynecastle, but Saturday at 3 p.m. on the opening day of the season, that's when it really starts good and proper in the traditional sense, Hugh Keevins. We're looking forward to it. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that the starter, which was the game at Tynecastle, was terrific. Absolutely terrific. The game of football is about entertainment. That's why people buy a ticket. And it was sensational entertainment. And I have a feeling that when we have our first caller, if he's a Rangers fan, he's going to pick on Tavernier and Davies, and he's going to be concerned about Dessers, who could conceivably have had a hat-trick. But it was a very, very good start to the season, and we look forward to the matches now starting at 3 o'clock. Terrific matches tomorrow. The Dundee derby's back.
Celtic will unfurl the flag and then play a Kilmarnock side who had the terrible disappointment of losing in Europe midweek, and then we'll see about the Swedish factor. Jimmy Tillin at Pittodrie on Monday night against the team that we've all chosen to go down, St Johnstone.
Yeah, it was a good start this afternoon. Good entertainment. Woodwork hit a couple of times, but no goals. But I think we'll see goals this afternoon all through the divisions. I think the first game of the season, everybody's just wanting out the way, if I'm honest. Well, I always felt like that a lot of the pre-season work had been done, and you get to pit your wits against some top teams and some teams that are way below you, but you never really get the right gauge until the first game of the season kicks off and you sit there at full time and think, okay, we are where we should be, or we are miles off it here. We need to pick up quickly. So a lot of teams will be feeling that way this afternoon.
I enjoyed the early game, I've got to say. I know it was a 0-0 and it's all about goals, but I thought there was a lot of excitement, a lot of good talking points. It'll be interesting to hear what the Rangers fans think at 5 o'clock when the lines open, Gordon.
No, they're open now. Thanks for listening for the last half.
Yeah, unfortunately
he's too busy talking into that cheese board he's brought in.
Me through that. Is this a new you for the new season? The half-time pies are gone. What do they call that? A charcuterie?
Yeah.
Known for?
That's beautiful,
you
isn't
could
it?
cured meats, crackers, cheese,
grapes, yes, both colours.
Yeah.
Motherwell, the steelworks. You know that. I just don't know what's happening here.
Yeah, but he's a 21st century man.
Hugh promised that next week he'd bring in the nicer bottle of Reds and we could all enjoy the programme. But look, I look at even at, I know we've only got one more Premier League game, Motherwell Ross County, but I think even if you look down the divisions, I think there's a lot of really exciting football ahead.
I actually put a wee video of your charcuterie on my Instagram, and it's getting good feedback.
Oh, no wonder.
People are having it. They're not bothered about that.
Do you know how much that was?
I was going to say, how much you pay for that?
That'll be a few quid.
That's a few quid.
It's salami and chorizo.
Of course. Yeah, listen, you need to chip in.
It's room temperature as well, isn't it? It's not been in the fridge.
I tried a bit of the cheese and it was a bit rubbery. It's a bit warm, I have to say.
It's been sitting in the back of his motor.
No, it's sitting in here because there was no room in the fridge.
It was a bit sweaty.
It was lovely, I've got to say.
Right, keep the calls coming. Let's do it soon. 01419511025. Callers right now, and whilst we're lining them up, let's do this for the first time in the new season.
The first half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
Topicality is everything in this business, so nodding in the direction of Robin Propper's move to Rangers this week, can you tell me the last 5 players to join Celtic or Rangers directly from a Dutch club? Just tell me the last 5 to join Celtic or Rangers directly from a Dutch club.
I like it. I like the question. It is topical, as Hugh says. It's tough, but it's doable. It's got all the elements we need. And if you don't know how the first half teaser works, it's pretty simple. Fire up Twitter. Come up with all the correct answers, put them on one tweet, and send it into @ClydeSSB. If you do it quicker than everyone else, you win the first half teaser. So the race is on. Even if you can only think of a few, throw them in there. We'll come up with the answers together. But you do need all of the correct answers on one tweet before everyone else to win. So @ClydeSSB. I do like it. That's the way you can get in touch. I'm going to be asking you for more on Twitter as well. That's the thing about a Saturday. We've got a lot of football happening, but it's really about you. It's about your involvement on the phones, on Twitter, coming up with some conversations for us. So let's bring in Stephen, who's in Motherwell. Stephen, as a Rangers fan, how did that feel as a season opener?
Terrible. Absolutely terrible. I'm not surprised. I actually called a 0-0 draw. We're absolutely toothless up front. Dessers, I'm just sick of him. Tavernier, Davies at the back. I'm just sick of it. And I was saying to your producer, I'm saying, we better look over our shoulder for Hearts rather than look to chase Celtic, because Hearts look good and we don't look very good.
Well, I mean, it's quite the start to the season if it's already worried about finish second. I mean, that tends to be unthinkable. Gordon, are we at that stage?
No, I know that some Rangers fans will be disappointed. I've got to say, what I would be a bit concerned about is there's no style of play there for me. I thought there was going to be different. I listened to Rangers manager's comments prior to the game. I was expecting something out of the ordinary, where he was going to change the system or the way they played. But once again, it was the way they troubled Hearts was probably more long balls. That would be disappointing for me. Now, I know what you're saying about, I thought the defence, Rangers first half was dreadful, and I know Davies comes in for a lot of stick. I know Tavernier comes in for stick. I'm sort of disagreeing a little bit with Dessers today, right? And I'll tell you the reason why. He looked the only guy in the pitch. If there was going to get a goal for Rangers, it was him. I thought he was unlucky. Probably should have done maybe a little bit better with the first one. Second chance, he hits the target. Third one, he's a good header, and only for the fact it's come off the defender's head and hit the crossbar. So he had 3 good opportunities there. Yeah, he'd be disappointed not to score, but I would be more concerned with the overall style of play, because I don't see what Rangers are trying to do.
First of all, I'd be concerned by Philippe Clement's judgment in starting the game with Ben Davies, who had a horror story and was taken off after an hour. Now, that's a managerial acknowledgement of the player needing to be removed before he causes real damage. So I questioned the decision to start with Davies instead of Balogun. I knew the first caller would be on Tavernier's case, and in general the defence, because it's a real worry. I know it's not the end of the world for Rangers to draw 0-0 at Tynecastle on the opening day of the season. The problem is, in the first 30 days of the season, Rangers will now go to Poland on Tuesday to play Dynamo Kiev, who took 9 goals on aggregate off Partizan Belgrade. So they stand between Rangers and any further progress in the Champions League qualifying rounds. Then Rangers have to go to Celtic on the 1st of September. If Celtic do their job properly, they would hope to go into that match at least having a 2-point lead over Rangers, with the potential to go 5 points clear after 4 league games. It's the accumulation of events that worry Philippe Clement and Stephen on the line as a Rangers fan.
So Stephen, you definitely think it was more that today was about worrying signs rather than an acceptance that a point at Tynecastle might not be a bad thing?
Yeah, I just think it confirms every fear every fan had over pre-season. We just look undermanned. Like Gordon says, no style of play. I'm really fearful of the season. I'm fearful for Tuesday night for going to Poland. Really fearful that could be a key moment in Philip Clement's tenure.
Mark, it is still early in the season and all that sort of stuff. I mean, it could barely be earlier, but I wonder about style, identity, these buzzwords that you hear. Towards the end of last season, there was a criticism that you didn't really see it from Rangers, but then, fair enough, a pre-season under the belt, some new signings made. Is it fair to say we didn't really see that yet, though?
We didn't see any of it, and I think the worry from the Rangers fans is that they've not seen it in pre-season either. And style and identity have just become the norm for every supporter now, that they want to see that before they maybe see results. Some fans will take an attractive style and identity over winning every week. I'm not saying that Rangers and Celtic, but some fan bases like that sort of things. But it's just crept into our game now. And even when you look at the face of it, it's a point at Tynecastle and it's a clean sheet, and you hit the woodwork. Some fans are looking at it and saying, no, we have not progressed from last season. And I think they've every right to argue that. I think when you bring in a manager, midway through the season, and you give him his time to work with a group of players that's already there, and you give him a window in January and they add 1 or 2 and you think it will get better. Don't think it did in Philippe Clement's case. But then in the summer, when you've got time to actually work in the training pitch without any other distractions, I think you look forward to seeing something different.
I mean, I suppose on the pitch. They didn't concede in the end, Stephen, but was the defence a worry for you?
Yeah, very worrying, because Hearts could have had goals all day. And with the Dessers chances, Gordon, I think if that was Shankland or Rioski, he put 7 in the back of the net. I'm sorry, mate.
Gordon, that's the thing. I know you're a fan, so to speak, or you defend him, and you will be right. Sometimes he can be singled out unfairly, but still, is he the man to lead Rangers attack to anywhere near a title? That's what Rangers fans are asking.
Well, he banged in 22 goals last season,
okay.
Right? It's not a bad return for a centre forward, you've got to say. I know what the caller says, and it's easy to say, well, if that's Shankland or someone else, Majowski, it's in the back of the net. If you look at the 3 chances, the first one, his touch is absolutely brilliant, his run's brilliant. Give him credit for that. The ball sits up, it's a difficult one. I was a bit critical, I thought he could have done a little bit better. Second one, he hits the target. And the third one's very unlucky. Look, Dessers is one of these players, and I say it week in, week out with him last season. One Saturday you see him, you think, you love him, he's different class, he's brilliant, he scores goals, he's doing X, Y and Z. Next week you see him and you think, you are absolutely hopeless. So that's just the way that he goes about his business as a Rangers player. Rangers need more consistency from him, and he needs to start putting the chances away.
So Stephen, you don't sound confident that things are going to get any better?
No, it's not. I'm not optimistic this season. I'm really not. But look, you never know. But when the September we could be 4 or 5 points behind Celtic, and it's just unthinkable.
Well, we will see. Thank you to Stephen in Motherwell kicking things off. Not impressed with Rangers today, fearing the worst. Thinks he'll be closer to got a battle on for third rather than a battle on to win the league. So what do you think? Are you agreeing with that? Is that over the top? Do you see more positives from today, or maybe you're even worse than that? Maybe you're even further down the negativity road. Do let us know. We're here early on the phones because of the early kick-off on 0141 951 1025, and you can tweet us at Clyde SSB, and lots of Twitter reaction coming in. Granty says, but what manager in the world could do anything with Ben Davies, Scott Wright, Rabbi Matondo, Kieran Dowell? The problem is the manager doesn't have the tools at his disposal.
He's got a big... I thought his substitutions made a little bit of difference. He got the wide men on. Matondo caused Taylor in 5 minutes more problems than Cortez did in the 60 plus minutes that he played. Well, was about 50 minutes he played. Yeah, look, he's still got a big squad there, but I think where Rangers fans will be looking, thinking, we're starting at the beginning of the season with guys like Ben Davies, Scott Wright, people like that, and I thought Rangers would have started with a lot more players in the building.
Right, get your calls in. We will hear from Philippe Clement and Stephen Naismith very soon as well. Their reaction is making its way to us, so look forward to hearing how they felt it went. It is still goalless between Motherwell and Ross County in the only other Premiership match, and goalless in our 2 featured Championship games. In fact, it's goalless across the entire Championship as well. Livy back down in the second tier. They're at home to Dunfermline. Airdrie against Wraith, 2 of the better teams from last season, and of course our 2 featured matches. Not a goal yet in League 1 or League 2 either, for that matter. A slow start, but it's good to have those leagues back. Really good, in fact. Started last night. Falkirk back in the Championship. A stunning goal from Dom Thomas, but not enough. A 2-1 win for the Bairns.
The most amazing story of all would be Falkirk getting back-to-back promotions. If John McGlynn can pull that off, having made Falkirk the Invincibles last season, then he's entitled to the freedom of the town.
Who will win? Because, by the way, it's not just the Championship. It feels like all the leagues are quite evenly matched this season. Who'll win? Just out of curiosity, who'll win League 1?
League 1? Go on, Mark, I'll let you go for it.
I'm going to go for Cove.
Okay.
I think Paul Hartley's got the experience of doing it.
I've gone for Montrose, believe it or not.
Okay.
I thought they were decent last season.
No one going Inverness then? They're having a bad time.
No.
They're a mess of a club.
Their survival's more important than what they win.
Okay.
I've gone, as a local, I've gone Sons of the Rock, Dumbarton.
League 2, anyone?
Ah,
Any
Mark and I are both on the same wavelength here. The Spartans.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
I've gone for my old pal
Clyde.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. You've got that free meal at the wedding already, Hugh. You don't need to keep.
Is that wedding no past?
I've been,
It's done.
You've been,
he's had
okay.
it.
Oh, it's
belly's
fantastic.
been filled.
Fantastic.
Right, of course, you can give us your traditional predictions for the season if you want, right? Who'll win the league and who'll come second, who'll get relegated. Of course, we'll take them. Focus right now, though. I'm wondering if you can get your thinking caps on. Let's have a bit of fun here. I want you to tweet me with your biggest, boldest most out there prediction of the season? You know, one that you're really sticking your neck on the line, a hot take, so to speak. What is your biggest, boldest prediction for the season ahead? As an example, Celtic to win the league, it's not doing it for us. That's not going to excite us. Maybe Hughes touched on maybe Falkirk back-to-back promotions. Maybe you've got a left field unsung hero who's going to burst through and be player of the year. Maybe you fancy a big team to get relegated. Use your imagination. Entertain us if you can on a Saturday afternoon. Send us a tweet right now. What is your biggest, boldest prediction for the season ahead? Something out there, something with some imagination. Tweet us right now at Clyde SSB and I will read out the best ones. I'll give you three some thinking time. You can come up with some of your own.
I've done mine.
Alright, let's hear it.
That's not very good.
I'll decide.
I went for Dessers to be top goal scorer.
There we go. Listen, there's a
hold
long
on,
season
hold
ahead.
on. See, be fair to me, right? See, if he bags 3 today, I'm off and running.
Dessers to be top scorer in the Premiership is Gordon Dale's biggest, boldest prediction of the season. You got anything else up your sleeve?
I'll go for
Dessers not to be top goal scorer.
I'll go for a team other than Celtic and Rangers to win the League Cup and the Scottish Cup.
Both?
Yes.
Oh, I love it.
Impossible.
Absolutely
Impossible. St Johnson done it a couple of years ago.
I like
That's
it.
good. I like that.
Oh, it's huge. It's huge from Mark Wilson. He's gone in early in the new season.
I will top the list of those who made their predictions.
Oh, right, okay, fair enough. So you're going to get more pre-season predictions right than anyone else.
Correct.
That is out there. It's bold. We've got our first goal of the Championship season.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Obviously I meant today because the first goal of the Championship season came last night, but it is an opener for Ayr and it is Stranger from close range. Corner came in, close range finish. Scott Brown's happy, Hamilton Accies aren't, and it's Hamilton 0, Ayr United 1.
Well, I think we all tipped Ayr to win away, didn't we?
Yeah.
My fear is that Bruni wins the league and has his celebration and invites me. It's too near the water down at Ayr. He almost had his moment with me at Loch Lomond.
By the way, speak of some early big shouts coming in. Is it Chinese? I don't know how you say that exactly, but anyway, prediction is that Shug will go undefeated on Beat the Pundit this season.
Never.
Did you win last night?
I did.
Next week,
Again?
that'll be done.
Is that 2 in a row?
2 wins this week.
Yep. I stopped the rot at 2-0. I made it 2-1 on Wednesday. Came back last night. It was 2-2, and I made it 3-2 for the pundits.
Well done, Chug.
Tell you what,
Flying the flag.
I like it. I like it. It doesn't have to be about this show, of course, although we'll entertain them as well. Motherwell actually have passed up a big opportunity. County dallied at the back. Zach Robinson robbed Nightingale. He's through. He's 1-on-1 with Laidlaw. One of those that the fans will say Theo Bair would have scored that. But he curls it wide. I'm being unfair probably, but a nightmare for Nightingale. Robinson couldn't compound his misery though.
Thinking about Theo Bair brought me back to Van Veen. Where's Van Veen this year now?
Back to Groningen.
Did he? And
didn't have a good time at Kilmarnock.
He didn't play. Did
he had 1 season.
I saw the most Gordon Dale thing of all time from Theo Bair during the summer. This is exactly something you would do. He obviously left Motherwell, signed for Auxerre, and a couple of days after Motherwell played Clyde at Hamilton, he came to the game and he sat in the main stand, so diagonally across from the Motherwell fans, but sat way a lot across on his own with his girlfriend. Right, so the Motherwell fan, and they were singing his name, and he was waving, and they were one Theo Bair, and him and his girlfriend were filming it, just soaking it up for one last time. I thought, that's a bit of you.
Yeah, I don't see ending up with that. Especially if you've got a nice looking girlfriend. You've got to milk it. Give a wee wave, call it selfies, wave to your fans, adore them. Look, he made Motherwell a lot of money.
How much did they go for again?
1.3.
I think it was a wee bit more.
I think he can rise a good bit depending on the...
That, for a second half of the season, that's fantastic.
Really good. Really good business.
So he deserves every plaudits in the world.
Stamatopoulos. They paid money for him to get him in, and used a bit of that Theo Bear.
And he's on the bench today, is he?
On the bench.
Australian.
It's amazing that clubs nowadays, fans turn up in day one of the season and expect, a new team, new players, new heroes. And the norm is now that we've signed somebody, but they're not up to speed yet. Pre-season has become a thing of the past where you use pre-season to actually get players up to speed. And even if they came to you and signed, they'd already done a pre-season at the previous club, so they were fit.
But he's come all the way from Australia, Mark.
No, he didn't walk it, did he?
I think that's not the point. I think his I think until like yesterday his work permit wasn't through.
Right, so
happened to me when I went to Melbourne. I jet lag, everything. It took me time to get up to speed.
To then scam them and take the cash in the bag.
8 weeks later,
you were doing Ramsey Street.
I still didn't feel fit enough to play.
I'll tell you what, I like some of these bold predictions that are coming in. Mark Patterson's wild prediction, he says, the top scorer and the player of the year are not yet playing in the league.
That's a good one, yeah.
Now I wonder, does Mark mean anyone like specific? I mean, he's a Rangers fan, so I don't think he's suggesting Adam Ida as an example. He's just throwing it out there. The top scorer and the player of the year not yet playing in the league. We need to bookmark all these, by the way, screenshot them, whatever it is, because in May, if you can throw something like that out there and get it right, I'll be impressed. Jack Tennick says Kilmarnock to finish 8th or lower.
Nonsense, Jack.
If they get the conference, they'll focus on that. Injuries, pressure, don't think they'll challenge. 8th or lower.
Not a chance. Not a chance. Wrap that up, don't even screenshot it.
Oh, I love this. From P. Mick as well. Mikey Johnson to score or assist 15 this season. So goal contributions.
For 15. Which club?
15 for Mikey Johnson.
There's a player in Mikey Johnson, there's no doubt about it.
The year is 2043.
There is a player in him.
I'm not saying you're wrong, but obviously it has been.
But maybe not at Celtic. Just players need a different club, don't they, to shine?
5 goals, 10 assists.
He's
7 goals, 8 assists.
Yeah, he could do that. But you've got to get regular games to do that. Right enough,
he'll be on the bench tomorrow for Celtic.
But he could do that.
And
I wonder, in comparison to the other wingers at the club just now. James Forrest obviously not getting any younger, and then you've got Kuhn, who I think we're still to see the best of Kuhn. Maeda, Palma flatters to deceive sometimes. Mikey Johnson the most direct, maybe.
But where is he right now in the pecking order?
He's obviously behind all them.
Exactly.
But I think he came on in pre-season, he scored, did he not, against Chelsea?
Yep.
Brendan Rodgers likes him.
There we go. By the way, if any of our pundits want to join in on this, you can. Cynical stuff from Andrew McLean, who has been hanging around with you too much over the summer. He says, based on the opening 24 minutes at Fir Park, his prediction is that not a single goal will be scored in the Premiership this season, because we didn't get any at Tynecastle either. But we'll see. We will see what we can come up with. Motherwell did have that big chance through Zach Robinson, but it wasn't to be. Keep them coming for us on Twitter then. Your bold, outlandish...
Bang, bang, Derek Lang.
Spartans are behind.
Spartans.
Come on, Spartans.
You've got to lose 3 points.
It's a new season. Some things stay the same.
Getting Lang. It's bang. And it's Derek Lang with number 5. It's bang, bang.
I've still got it. I will play it any time he scores.
Bang, bang, Derek Lang.
Well done. Back for the new season. Anyway, that's a goal down the divisions Hugh's telling us about. It's 01419511025. We're taking your reaction to the game at Tynecastle. Give us a call right now. Let us know how you viewed it. The previous caller we had on, Rangers fan, not impressed at all, fearing that second place is in jeopardy this season. Is that an overreaction? Or is it an understatement? Or do you agree wholeheartedly?
I think of Dujon Sterling unfit to play today. He'll definitely come back. Proper will come into the team because he's the one that Clement has hung his hat on to get that defence ship shape. So there are other things of a more positive note to happen for Rangers, but I understand 2 points dropped today, Celtic playing tomorrow, and the possibility of losing significant ground in the title race not long into the title race.
Sean is on the line. Sean, a point at Tynecastle, it might not be a terrible result for some people. some people might be panicking at the worrying signs. How did you feel about it?
I was a wee bit panicky. I was one of the fans, and I actually think Rangers need to do a deal tonight with Shankland and send Shankland on the Rangers bus, because if we don't sign Shankland, we can forget the SPL this season. It's just got to be a shambles season. Clement's just signed a new deal. What happens if Rangers lost next week in the Champions League and lost next week at Hampden? It's got to be a shambles, man. Honestly, the board need to wake up, give the guy money, and try and go to get into this Champions League, or this has just got to be Celtic are going to end up taking over in league titles. It's time for the board to wake up, and I think Rangers fans need to connect. I would say for next week, it's put banners up to sack this board, because this board is a shambles at Rangers.
I get that. I know why these things happen. I'm never sure about sack the board. Who leaves, who replaces them. By the way, you might not like the way certain things are happening, but John Bennett puts an awful lot of money into Rangers. Correct. So if he disappears,
£10 million so far.
You really might not have money for transfers. But anyway, the big chance from Motherwell, I think, has just gone a begging. Andrew McLean's watching that one, a couple in quick succession saved, and then over the bar it was Ewan Wilson cutting it back for Moses. Close range shot saved. I love the drama. I love this notion that Philippe Clement chaps the dressing room door, gives Lawrence Shankland the Rangers tracksuit, and he gets on the bus and comes back through. I'm starting to feel like we'll never hear the end of this.
Well, you will have to come the first week in September when the window closes. And I don't believe
we'll do it again in January.
I don't believe that Shankland will be there by the first day of September. I don't believe he'll be there in January either. I don't believe that Philippe Clement has the belief in Lawrence Shankland that the Rangers fans have. He proved that last season, because at the time when he was being implored to buy Shankland, the title was not a foregone conclusion for Celtic by any means, but I don't think he fancies him. But I think the stuff about the board have complete faith in Philippe Clement, hence the new contract. Clement has complete faith in Rangers, hence the signing of the new contract. Now, the worry is that in this country, in this city in particular, in 30 days' time, he's out the Champions League and 5 points behind Celtic. And at that point, there's no point in talking about patience, because the city's on fire then.
He must think, in terms of the striker, Clement must think he's got enough at the minute with Daniel and Dessers up there. Otherwise, I mean, Shankland into the last year of his contract, like you says, if he was really interested, there would have been movement there would have been discussions, but we hear that there's nothing going on. It's just rumours and people putting two and two together. But you see Shankland, how he played today, there was a large period of that game he was quiet, but then you see in the closing maybe 25 minutes, you see what he does bring, that strength, that eye for goal. He's constantly trying to create for himself, and I think Rangers could do much worse than take a player like Shankland in. There's no doubt about it. He would get you goals, the amount of chances that Tavernier would put on a plate for him. He would finish. He's a natural finisher, but I'm with you. I just don't think it will get done by the end of August.
Was there anything you liked about today, Sean?
Well, at least we kept a clean sheet. We can take one positive for that, but we looked a wee bit tired. I thought Hearts, if MD was going to win that game, credit goes to Hearts. I actually thought Hearts actually played well. I thought Hearts could have even got a penalty, but I actually thought Hearts actually played probably the best they could play. So, but it's just a bit concerning. And us Rangers fans, we've not won the league in many years. We won the odd Scottish Cup. Don't get me wrong, we seem to do all right in Europa League, but we want to go into the Champions League. We'll probably, as a Scottish club, do nothing in the Champions League, but we all want to be there. But Europa League, we seem to turn up. But this, I don't understand it. Why can Rangers get to European finals, but can't compete in the can't win the SPL? Because I know Celtic have had their troubles. Celtic's still a decent team, but they'll know a Porto or a Borussia Dortmund. So I don't understand that, guys.
Guess it would be sort of one-off or two-legged games versus the consistency needed for a
title win. You heard Mark's prediction saying that St Johnstone won the cup double. and they struggle to stay in the Premier League. Cup football is completely different from league football. That's the problem. Yeah, look, I think everybody agrees it's not the worst result in the world. I keep going back to, if I was watching Rangers week in, week out, Clement come in the door, he had a lot to deal with. He made a challenge in the title race, and the Rangers fans bought into him. He won a trophy, and you're thinking, right, okay, he'll get one or two of his own players in, he'll change his style it, because Rangers weren't great to watch last season in the Premier League. Their style of football, everybody was wondering, what is it? I turned up today to watch this game, and I still don't know what the style of football is. I don't know what Rangers do. Most of it was long balls, and that came last season from when Connor Golson was playing. Constantly long balls. He's away. Nothing's changed for me.
Thank you to Sean. You can get your calls in. Let's hear from Philippe Clement.
That I was not satisfied with the first half, for sure the first half hour, where we lacked intensity in the duels and a lot of long balls, and we didn't win the first duel, also not the second duel, also not the third duel, and because of that we came under pressure by Hearts. On the other side, also with the ball, we were not calm enough, not brave enough also to do the right things with the ball and to be in the right positioning like we want. So it was really important to have 15 minutes during halftime to put things straight, to show them where we were going wrong, and to change that, and that changed a lot. Second half we took control of the game, we played better football, we get good chances also, and we dominated the second half. So I expect that to happen during the game. That's why we need also experience on the pitch to guide things in moments. So those are things to work on for the future.
All your thoughts, please, on the phones right now. On that first half teaser, Hugh, remind us of the question if you can.
Yes, so we are nodding in the direction of Robin Propper's move to Rangers this week from Holland. That named the last 5 players to join Celtic or Rangers before him directly from a Dutch club.
Okay, let's do wrong answers to help you. Thomas throws in Sam Lammers.
Nope.
Cherney throws in DeMarcus Beasley.
No.
Sean wants to go Rabiu Ibrahim.
No.
Remember him? Is he a teammate of yours, Martin?
Yeah,
Was he?
for a short time, yeah.
And Charlie Bear thinks it might be Evander Snow.
But it's not.
Okay.
How are we doing there, Hugh?
We've got 5 here. Just
I
give
don't know if
them
they've
all
got
the
5. I
ticks.
think we've got a few.
All the ticks.
You get 2.
That's good. Give 2 ticks.
Oh no, tell why you get 3.
Oh, 3, okay.
Right, give your attention to Twitter not only for the first half teaser, but remember we're asking you for your biggest, boldest Premiership or Scottish football predictions, this season. You have taken to this perfectly
Tail water
on Twitter. It is absolutely brilliant, I have to say. Ryan thinks Palmer will get 25 to 30 goal contributions. Big shout.
Contributions, not goals.
There's lots of Hugh Keevins will get something right examples. Gerard being one of them. What else have we got here? Sean wants to say Nicholas Kuhn, who will be player of the year.
Well,
Gambit, Celtic will concede fewer than 20 goals. Interesting.
With a great caller Wednesday night who said he'd be amazed if Celtic didn't have an invincible season. Amazed.
Nicholas, wash your mouth out. Motherwell to be relegated, Dundee to get Europe, Starbar Andrew, Dundee United to win the Scottish Cup.
Have that.
Absolutely not.
Come on.
Not a chance. Unless every other team pull out.
Quite a lot of thought have gone into some of them that I like this from Reese. All 3 derbies this season will be whitewashes. Celtic over Rangers, Dundee over United, and Hearts over Hibs.
Oh, well, we'll find out soon enough, because the first of those is tomorrow. I do fancy Dundee strongly, even though it's at Tannadice. I just think that Simon Murray's been an inspired signing, and it's just as well you're a Dundee fan, family live in the city. But great piece of business by Tony Docherty.
Do you play in a lot of them, Mark?
Loads. I think the last time I read this that Dundee beat Dundee United at Tannadice was when I was there the first time, 2004.
Your fault.
Maybe. That's a long time
We do
ago.
talk about this every season. Remember the free kick he scored in
Yeah,
the derby?
yeah.
The only free kick that's ever bounced 3 times before going in.
Made my competitive full debut in the derby.
Woeful.
Man of the match.
We should tweet that
Yeah.
today, actually, in tribute to the Dundee
Aye,
derby tomorrow. Here's one from
Did a
Liam.
few.
Maeda, top scorer. Tartan boot, as he calls it.
Nah,
no chance.
Nah, no
Finished
chance.
last season well.
But he's never going to finish above Kyogo.
Or Desert.
And
Or Shankland.
my favourite one that's sort of non-football, Big Doc. He's made it all about you lot in here in the studio. The Dazzler will climb Mount Kilimanjaro.
Dazzler will certainly not be doing that.
There's no chance.
I wouldn't even be climbing Tinto Hill.
Mark Wilson, you spoke about it every week last season. You've done it. You're back. You
Completed.
survived. Well done.
Thank you.
How was it?
I was harder than I thought. I've got to say, it was harder than
How
I
hard did you
thought.
think it was going to be?
I thought it was going to be
Kilimanjaro.
tough, but you know, you see all sorts of older generation doing it, and you think, it must be easy.
Mate, it took you 5 days.
Sounds
How
quite
can that be
ageist
tough?
to me.
Oh, I know.
Do you know somebody done that in 7 hours? 7 hours. And
no.
you took 5 days.
No, I'd have to look into
No,
that.
fair
I
play.
told you that fact.
Fair
No,
play
you
to
didn't.
Mark Wilson. I said to
7
him,
hours up and down.
You can't do that in 7 hours.
Really tough, was it?
Oh, really tough. aye.
Rewarding though when you get to
I
the
was
summit.
no, because I couldn't even take it in. Altitude sickness had set in by then. Because usually when I go in these Monroes here and I'm the one that's buzzing at the top and taking photos and this is brilliant, we'll have a picnic. Honestly got to the top and I felt drunk beyond belief.
You're used to that, to be fair.
I know. I handled it well.
Took you back to Germany.
Karaoke.
And
So
we had
really
to-
you were gone at that point?
and I felt like, you know, I had lead boots on, could hardly walk, and you know, that way you get a bit irritated by everything. I sat down and I had to say to the boy, give me some chocolate, and he gave me chocolate, and I said, just leave me here for maybe 10-15 minutes.
The
And
rest
he
of the
said,
duration.
he said, you can't stay here.
The bus
He
is
said,
coming.
the altitude, you can only get 7 or 8 minutes at the top, straight back down. So it took us, on summit night, took us 8 hours to get up and summit, and we only lasted about 6 minutes on top, then another 4.5 hours to get down. That was exhausting.
Is that
But
not-
look, I've
is
got
that
to
not
say,
the biggest wasted
thank
time of
you,
your
thank
life?
you to everybody for donating to Cash for Kids. Very generous.
Did you hear that there?
What?
Cash for Kids, at the same time as you're mumbling, that sounds like the biggest waste of time of your life.
There we go, that sums
did.
us up.
It was for charity.
I would have still put to the charity.
You know what, right? This guy, he did donate to Cash for Kids, and you know, you can see the donation and you can see the wee comment. Leanne read it out to me and says, Daz hopes that they just leave you at the top of the mountain for his donation. But thank you to everybody, very generous, and just raised over, I think just over 7,000 there.
That's
So
brilliant.
Really
very
great
good.
cause. Well done to you. Great effort. I have to say, it sums up the type of guy you are. I was at Earywig listening in to you two being reunited today. I noticed all you were asking him was about how and when and where he went to the toilet.
They're
Is that all
fascinating.
that's on your mind?
There we go, the tip.
Right.
Anybody doing it, hire your own toilet.
This guy's got a few quid. He hired his own toilet. Have you ever heard of such a thing?
That baffles the life out of me.
The wee guy that was
Right.
carrying the toilet was called Chopper. So Chopper. I wouldn't have fancied
Don't make it. Don't make
in that
it,
cage.
don't make it as easy as that for him to crack a joke, will you?
The chopper was emptying that toilet more than he'd like to.
I bet
That
he's
was-
sitting at the bottom of the mountain shaking his head going, you never know what I woke up to every morning.
It's carrying 40 kilos up every day, every morning, fresh at the station.
Oh, mate, take them in the laundrette.
Oh, well, what an experience for me and Chopper. It was great.
Stop it.
That was his nickname. The guide said, "This is Chopper." I said, "What do you do, Chopper?" He says, "I empty your toilet and carry it." I said, "That's the worst job,
So
mate."
he was like your guide.
Aye, he was.
He's a toilet
Good to see your
carrier.
chopper still works at altitude, etc., etc. Let's move on. It's a family show and all that sort of stuff. We've got no goals, but if we had a goal, Hugh, we wouldn't go down this line. So you blame Motherwell and Ross County.
You're safer with me talking about Davina McCall. That's all I'll say to you.
But what an experience. Anybody out there, do you want to do it next year?
No, absolutely. I wouldn't waste my time doing that, mate. That's just a waste of 7 days for me. 5 days up, 2 down.
The Dazzler was actually talking to me about politics. I never thought in my lifetime he was asking me about the way the country's run, because he'd become interested
I'm
in
concerned for the
politics.
younger generation. I'm going to run as an MP, I think.
on the
I think Motherwell needs someone like me.
Vote for the Dazzler.
Vote for a Dazzler.
Right, can we not? But
you know the scandals coming. We've heard enough with the Tories, but you would take it to a new level.
I don't know if it's like just first day nerves, but there's one goal in the Championship. It's at Ayr United. We've had 1.5 games in the Premiership, no goals there, no goals in League One, and Stranraer and Elgin have scored 2 each. But other than that, jeez. I might even dip down into the Lowland League to give you some updates here. That's how desperate we are. No real goal. Well, there's a lot down there. But there we go. So we could be doing with something, that's for sure.
Yeah, we can certainly do with goals, because that's what it's all about. Football is all about scoring goals. Unfortunately, we've not got a lot, but we'll get plenty of time yet. Plenty of time.
I'm going to give you a bit longer in the teaser as well today, because there's not as much happening at half time. So just a quick reminder of the question, Hugh, if you can.
Name the last 5 players to join Celtic or Rangers directly from a Dutch club.
Charlie wants to mention Bert Conterman.
Oh, Bert, that's going back a
No, he is not. Isabel says Rickson.
Oh, that's going back even further.
Yeah,
no.
Not on there at all. But keep going. There's a race on at Clyde SSB if you can name them all. Stephen O'Donnell put a ball into the box for Motherwell. Moses has to do better. Actually, he should probably get his head on it at least, but doesn't, and it goes out of play for a corner off someone.
Motherwell sound a better team, Gordon, just according to Andrew, reporting from Fir Park, sunny Fir Park. Be interesting to see how that game goes. It'd be good for Motherwell, especially, to go off to a good start.
Yeah, well, it's no real sign of goals yet. Liam Gordon with a header over, sort of harmless, nothing really doing there. We're still taking your calls. Give us your thoughts on the game earlier on. We're still looking for your biggest, baddest, boldest predictions for Scottish football this season. And the first half teaser will round off at the half-time interval. Good save, Ryan Mullen. It was Milne with the close range header there. So Partick Thistle now on top. You'll be pleased to hear Mark Wilson.
Yes. Yep. Made some good signings this year, especially in the top end of.
Who's the big signings this year?
Owen Chalmers, Bram Mackay. You've got Turner's came back. Kyle Turner came back, but he was the one that went away to Ross County and then didn't work out. But he was a good player for Thistle a couple of seasons ago. So we're going to have a good go, I think, this season.
Was the place up in arms about the administrative error?
Well, I would just arrive back down the mountain. I couldn't believe it when I read that. But just saying that, I mean, this comment system that's come in, don't know if you had much dealings with it, but even for coaches who are going through their licences or whatever, it's been a sticky start for the SFA, and admin has proved difficult.
In fairness to the comment system, the comment system, fairness, if you read the statements from the SFA, SPFL, Partick Thistle, it does seem like this was more user error, shall we say. It wasn't a glitch in the system. It wasn't a failure in the system.
Yeah,
it was user error.
Did you not think Big Brian handled that brilliantly on Thursday night? And
what did he say?
I thought he made a great point. He said that he didn't think
he's no bothered. He says because not bothered, but
he was the one coming off.
He said Clyde. They lost to Clyde, and there you go. That's why they went out the cup.
But he also made a good point about the only person he felt for was a young lad, because obviously it was a chance to get in a Premier League set up against Motherwell, and obviously appearance money means a lot to him as well.
Yeah, there won't be many youth players coming through at Partick Thistle this season. The system's shambles.
I must say he did well. I enjoyed listening to him, Brian, but I thought he was really generous, because if it's
I agree.
If it's user,
he's a Thistle player.
Bit boring.
If it's user error, then that is the fault of those who employ the user.
Yeah, but the way they view that, and I know this sounds wacky, it's a mistake by a match official. So if Partick Thistle don't get a penalty they should have got, you don't replay the game. I know that seems like extreme examples, but once you've investigated it and you've boiled it down to a mistake by the official, that's the way they view it. You're not getting a game replayed because the ref missed a handball.
If a player is used and he's ineligible for that
again,
cup tie,
I've heard that, but I'm talking about this was a mistake by the official. That's like the outcome of the investigation, so therefore it falls into the same category as like a decision sort of thing.
Bad decision, Hugh.
Anyway, it's half time.
I thought Brian was a master of diplomacy.
Yeah.
The scene of the crime, if you like. Andrew McLean, what's happening today?
Yeah, Motherwell 0, Ross County 0, the half-time score at Fir Park. Both sides maybe showing a bit of rustiness in the early stages of this game and the campaign, of course, but the home side have had two big openings in this one that they just haven't managed to take at all. Ross County got into the box first a couple of times, two tame looping headers though easily caught by Aston Oxborough. Lennon Miller then started to really control things in the middle of the park, looked good. Motherwell started to look better in general. They did struggle to open up their opponents, but then Will Nightingale, he was dilly-dallying on the ball, robbed about 35 yards from his own goal by Zach Robinson. He was then bearing down on goal, opened up to shoot on his left foot, but curled wide of the mark. Really should have either tested Ross Laidlaw or found the bottom corner with that one. Not long after, Shane Blaney dragged a long-range effort wide, and then Motherwell got another big chance, this time Ewan Wilson getting to the byline, cutting it back for Moses Abiye. He was only about 6 yards out. He forced a great save from Ross Laidlaw. It bounced back into a crowded area. Wilson got onto it again. He fired over, but I think Motherwell need to be more clinical if they want to win this game. Ross County need to be more creative if they want to as well. The half-time score here at Fir Park is Motherwell 0, Ross County 0.
What about the Championship then? Partick Thistle will be startled to find out that every pundit in here this afternoon tipped them to win the league. Fraser, how's it been?
Yeah, including me, but it's Partick Thistle 0, Morton 0. To be honest, it's a bit of a slow start with Partick Thistle, but time going towards a half-time whistle, they've taken control of the game and began to put real pressure on the Morton goal without creating a lot of clear-cut chances other than the last few minutes of the half. Morton started well, they were a better team early on. Young Owen Moffat was just wide from 20 yards. It was a good strike, but a yard wide of the post. In 9 minutes, a great chance, the best chance of the half for Morton. Luke Macbeth was shot with a pass back, and Ali Crawford, the new signing from Morton, ran onto a loose ball, just squared it to set up J. Emmanuel Thomas. The Jets' shot was saved by Miles Roberts. Good save by the keeper with his legs, but Jets should really have scored. It was an absolute sitter. Thistle, they say, taking some time to settle into the game. Chalmers and Williams combining really well. They were bright on the right-hand side of the pitch, but they were unable to create any clear chances at the Morton goal in the early stages. A few crosses from Fitzpatrick flashed across the goal, but nothing for the two strikers, Graham or Robinson, to get onto. 26 minutes, the closest they came was Kyle Turner, 25-yard free kick. He bent it up and over the wall. It flashed a yard wide of Mullen's left-hand post with the keeper scrambling. Then Morton all of a sudden threatened for the first time in a while at the other end. A really clever effort by Aaron Liley. Met a cut back sweetly with the inside of his foot from 18 yards. It was just over the junction of post and bar. The keeper beat him. It was a good effort by the former Rangers midfield player. But it's Thistle now pushing Morton back for the remainder of the half. More likely to score. Number of corners dealt with by Morton. 33 minutes. Thistle claimed for handball by Morgan Boys. Fans and players adamant it hits his hand. Referee Constein said no, and no VAR here, of course. Then Robinson with a chance, he diverted a Williams shot just wide. That was a good chance for the striker. Fitzpatrick then stung the hands of Mullen for a shot as the pressure built on Morton. And just before the break, for the half-time whistle, 42 minutes, a good save by Mullen. He pushed away a Harry Milne close range header from a corner. You feel the games are just about to take off. It's been getting better as the game wore on. A few goals coming in, I'm sure, and you get the feeling if Jags could just get one, it would lead to a few more in the second 45 minutes. Half-time at Firhill, Partick Thistle 0, Morton 0.
Let's go to Dave Galloway, who's at Hamilton for the game against Ayr.
Yeah, half-time, Hamilton Accies 0, Ayr United 1. Ayr started the better side. Marco Roos went down in the box, but no penalty was awarded. And Jay Henderson really should have done better than shoot wide when picked out at the back post by a cross from the left. Hamilton hit back. Regan Tumulty's shot was blocked for a corner, which came to nothing, but the visitors went close when Frankie Masonda's header was tipped over acrobatically by Charlie Albinson. A fine save. And from the corner kick, Ayr went ahead. That was on 19 minutes. George Stanger prodding home from close range. Frankie Masonda was close to doubling the lead with a shot from distance as the honest men kept up the pressure, but the hosts rallied as the first half progressed, and Kevin O'Hara's really well struck shot was turned round the post by Harry Stone. A really good stop, that one, and Stephen Bradley's effort was deflected for a corner. It's been end-to-end entertaining stuff. Hamilton Accies 0, Ayr United 1.
And there we go, we'll do a full round-up of the half-time scores, and I'll give you the winners of the first half teaser next.
The fastest goals, the expert opinions. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Half-time on the first Saturday 3 o'clock slot of the new league season. There's not a lot of football in the top flight. There's a full-time result from Tynecastle, Hearts 0, Rangers 0, which we're taking your calls on. Elsewhere in the Premiership at the break, It's Motherwell 0, Ross County 0. Into the Championship, and a similar story. Most of the games, Airdrie 0, Wraith Rovers 0. Same score, Partick Thistle Morton and Livy Dunfermline. There is a goal though, Hamilton Accies 0, Ayr United 1. In League 1, goalless, Cove Rangers Annan, Alloa 0, Queen of the South 0, Inverness Cally Thistle 1, Dumbarton 0, Montrose 0, Kelty 0, Stenhousemuir 0, Arbroath 0. In League 2, Stranraer 2, the Spartans 0, Bonnyrigg Rose 0, Peterhead 0, Edinburgh City 0, Stirling Albion 0, Elgin City 2, East Fife 0, and Forfar Athletic 0, Clyde 0. Those are your scorelines early on. But I'll give you a couple from the Lowland League if you're that way inclined, and they're local ones to us. Albion Rovers 0, Caledonian Braves 0. What else have we got in there? Cumbernauld Colts 1, East Kilbride 0. That might be a surprise to some. And Broomhill 0, Celtic B 4 at the break in that division. Since we've got a bit of downtime during the break, Hugh, why don't we round off this?
The first half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
The last 5 players to join Celtic or Rangers directly from a Dutch club prior to Robin Propper's move to Ibrox this week are Dirk Berichter, Danilo, Georgios Giacomakis, Virgil van Dijk, and Colin Kazim Richards.
Some list, how did you two fare? 3 of 5.
3 out of 5.
Not great, I have to say. Blair got them all right, and he was third fastest. Well done to you, Blair. Ryan McGinley in second place. It looks like he was put to the post by Paddy B. But a good question, and we will have a Who Am I later on this afternoon, of course, in the second half. Not a great deal happening in the game at Fir Park. It's actually been a low scoring early season situation in most of the lower league games as well. And even though there was no goals, plenty of talking points from Tynecastle. So 0141 951 1025. Give us a call if you can, and we'll speak to you next.
Scottish football's league leader. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Second half's in the 3 o'clock games, starting pretty much now. We are back underway at Fir Park. No changes for either side, and in fact an early chance for Motherwell. It was a looping Dan Casey cross. It almost caught out Ross Laidlaw. He punched it over the bar to stop it from going into the net. So still goalless in that Motherwell Ross County game. It was goalless in our featured championship match between Thistle and Morton, but Ayr do have a lead at Hamilton. So we're up and running in the second halves, and don't forget, the phone lines are here, they're open, they're ready for you to give us your early season thoughts, particularly on the game at Tynecastle. Rangers fans, is it just a case of an opening day draw at a tough venue, or were there worrying signs for the season ahead? You can decide, that's the beauty of it. 0141 951 1025. Give us a call right now. We'll hear more from Philippe Clement, we'll hear from Stephen Naismith, and more importantly we will hear from you. We're going to get a second half that's more full of goalmouth action at Fir Park.
Well, they've had time to get themselves in order now. Surely there will be goals, not just Fir Park. I mean, there's been a real drought with one or two exceptions, but not a lot of goals flying in.
Well, don't forget, we're also on Twitter asking you for your biggest, boldest, most outlandish prediction of the season ahead. It can be completely serious, it can be a bit tongue-in-cheek, it can be something totally wacky. You can try and bring a smile to the faces in here if you want, but just give us something that you're sticking your neck on the line for at Clyde SSB. Your biggest, boldest, most outlandish prediction of the season. Get them into us right now, please, at Clyde SSB. No early goals to tell you about, I don't think. And certainly last time I checked, nothing really doing in front of goal. A quiet old afternoon so far. Even the Championship were a bit starved. Airdrie and Wraith, Thistle and Morton, Livy Dunfermline all goalless. What is this, rust, Mark Wilson?
Well, you'd like to think so, and you'd like to think they get rid of it pretty soon, because I think last season we had a fair share of entertainment all throughout the divisions, plenty of goals everywhere, and some nice football, even touching that Airdrie and Wraith Rovers game. Teams that were always playing in the front foot, always looking to play attacking, attractive football, but it's been pretty poor in the first 45 minutes. But I think they'll get rid of that. I think we'll have goals I don't know about that Motherwell Ross County game.
You think that's still going to be
I said it was going to be a draw. I thought it would be low scoring. You look at just the goals Gordon mentioned, the goals that were taken out of both sides. It's hard to piece that back together.
Yeah, it's probably opening game of the season for a lot of clubs now, and you don't want to lose your first game. A draw is okay. Get a point on the board and work from there. The Championship that season, I think, is going to be so close. I'll be up and down. I think the competition in there is absolutely brilliant. But I'm expecting a take on board what Mark's saying about the amount of goals Motherwell and Ross County have lost. But I expect a sneaky 1-0 somewhere.
Imagine a Halliday winner to kick off the new season.
He got married, didn't he, when I was away?
Let me tell you.
Something's really been bothering me. Tell me he picked up the phone to you before he got married. Because if there's one man that's done it before it's you, he just seemed to do it quickly, quietly. Tell me he gave you the heads up.
No, but I tell you what, I couldn't believe I seen his photos. How he arranged the streets to be so quiet is incredible. How do you do that in Glasgow?
That man's got.
Did you see it? Right, it was fantastic. By the way, I've got to say the two of them looked absolutely sensational.
He looked sharp, didn't he?
He looked sensational.
That trip to Turkey done on the world again, didn't it? Because it was looking fluffy.
Yeah, and congratulations to him and is it Jill? Yeah,
Jilly. Yeah.
Jilly. Congratulations to both. But you're saying if Halliday's got to score a winner, it'll need to be in the next 10 minutes because he usually gets subbed round about now. You know, his numbers getting polished in the side. The fourth official even knows
the lump started. He comes out in the second half with a lump in preparation.
65 on it's the stone in the shoe one. Oh, hold on a minute.
I noticed he was assisting a few goals at the start of the League Cup, a few corners.
Was he? Is he on set pieces?
He was on the in-swinging corners for a bit. We'll see. Anyway, stoppage and play there at Fir Park for a head clash. Better not be the turkey do.
Oh, I've got plenty of pad in there now.
He'll be okay. He'll bounce right back up
like a sheep.
He'll hit my flat window and bounce back onto Fir Park.
Ayr almost scoring again. Frankie Masonda off the post from close range. Halliday's hair is safe. It's Shane Blaney and Jordan White. So you would expect a fair few aerial duels when Jordan White is involved. And they've clashed heads. Of course, a former Motherwell striker couldn't quite get going at Fir Park the way he has. He's been excellent servant for Ross County. There would have been a few sort of familiar faces, if you like, but Ricky Lamy, I think he's injured, isn't he? Didn't make the game today.
After that big interview with you, I was watching that.
Did you see that on
fantastic
Sky Sports
interview. Yeah,
sure.
Very good. It came over very well. I'd like to congratulate
you.
The
story behind that, if anyone cares, is Sky Sports News. You spend a day with each club, if you like, a media day. You go around, you get a series of interviews, so you're trying to just mix them up a little bit. So all the way to Dingwall, you don't need to tell me to tell you how far that is. And we arranged an interview with Ricky Lamy. It's a beautiful day driving up, so nice. And someone pointed us in the direction of a lovely cafe. I think it's called the Highland Cafe. I'll look that up. It's a pretty
that would make sense.
Predictable name, right? And it just overlooks, will that be the Moray Firth? Way up on the hill. It's stunning, honestly. You sit outside with your coffee, it's got a nice big garden overlooked, and it is stunning. So we said to Ricky Lamy, look, if you don't mind, since it's TV, could we jump in the car? It's about 10-15 minutes from the stadium. We'll drive up there, we'll sit down, it'll look spectacular. So we go all the way up there, and the rain comes battering down, which is fine because they've got like a shelter. It wasn't about us getting wet, but it was so rainy that it looked like we were just interviewing him against a white backdrop. You couldn't see the water, you couldn't see the hills. A complete and utter waste of time. The joys of Scottish summer.
There you go.
Honestly.
And he's not playing either because he's injured today. So
he did say he was looking forward to going back and playing against his old club. Because he said, what was it? He said something about when he left or whatever, he never had the opportunity to say goodbye to the Motherwell supporters and everything like that. So maybe he's sitting at the other end of the stand as well,
giving them a wave.
Yeah, giving them a wave.
Let's do this for the second half, Hugh.
Okay.
The second half teaser
with the ScottishSun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
I played alongside Owen Coyle and Darren Fletcher. I have been managed by John McGlynn and Walter Smith. I won major honours with each of the top 3 sides in the Scottish Premiership last season. Who am I? Plays alongside Coyley and Darren Fletcher. Managed by John McGlynn and Walter Smith. Won major honours with each of the top 3 clubs in the Scottish Premiership last season. Who am I?
I boomed it.
Yeah.
I boomed it.
I think we've gone easy for the new season, I have to say. We've gone very easy for the new season, but it's a race, so take that all into account. At Clyde SSB and send it into us right now, please. At Clyde SSB, it is a race, and you can see it all written down on Twitter.
It's not a race now. That race is gone.
But hold on, last season you admitted that you cheat.
I've got to be honest, I've seen the paper.
Exactly. Did you? What's the point in that? What is the point? It's a great question, Mark Wilson.
I didn't see the paper. Don't be so silly. How can I see the paper?
I can't keep up with this guy.
I don't know what's a lie, what's the truth.
There's no point hiding.
At Clyde SSB on Twitter, there it is a race, so who am I? Come up with your answers.
Easy, that one.
And don't forget, we are asking you for your biggest, boldest, most outlandish prediction for the season ahead anywhere in Scottish football. Be imaginative, get the thinking cap on, tell us what you can come up with. I've been loving some of your suggestions so far, really good, almost 100 replies, I think more than that in fact, and really good. I've enjoyed it, I have to say. GFB says Rangers 15 points behind by Christmas.
By Christmas.
It would be some going, wouldn't it? But I did ask for bold predictions, so get them into us. Patrick says conclusive evidence to emerge to prove that Gordon Dalziel did actually meet Natalie Imbruglia
100%.
back in 1994 or whatever it was.
100% on the chop with her. We were famous at that time.
Do you know what I was just thinking on the teaser there? It does remind me, the first clue, Darren Fletcher. There was not a lot to celebrate at the Euros, but my highlight
say this again,
was what a good guy he was.
Brilliant, eh?
Meeting Darren Fletcher.
An old friend of
and
myself.
Astonished at how much he liked Mark Wilson. I could not believe it.
He was devastated, wasn't he?
For anyone, did you miss this, Hugh? Was this one of the nights that you were on? So for anyone who missed it during the Euros, right, if you're a regular listener to the show, you'll know we recycle the same stories all the time. And we often reference the fact that at schoolboy level, Mark Wilson was the captain, and he was barking orders at Darren Fletcher, who was just a small cog in the team, which is a surprise. We thought it was a lie. So
you talked about the Scotland schoolboys team.
Scotland schoolboys. He was playing first team football for Manchester United at that time, but still, he knew his place.
On the first night, we go to some star-studded bash in Munich with all these famous Scottish people there. Darren Fletcher is one of them, and he's talking away, and he's honestly so nice. What a guy.
Yeah.
And I start to introduce the story. I'm sort of, Darren, you won't know this, but we've got this wee radio show in Glasgow, and he sort of interrupted. It was like he kind of knew. It was like he'd heard the story before, or he knew where I was going, and I was to Mark, and he said, "Who? El Capitan?" And he started pointing to Mark Wilson.
That sums it all up.
And he said, Darren Fletcher then said, this guy used to play central midfield, and I got pushed to right back so that he could play in midfield.
Oh, but sometimes I'd get handed the number 10 shirt.
Gordon Dalziel and I were devastated. And at the end of the night, he had his twin sons with him.
Yeah.
They've just moved to Man United from Man City. Big future in the game. And he was walking out, and he said, listen, look after my skipper. I was
it seemed by that point I'd taken advantage of the free bar, so he was telling Gordon.
Alarmingly, I think he was sober.
He was. I'd taken advantage. He was saying, look after my skipper.
You were hanging around Robbie Keane like a bad smell by then.
At that point I was hoping Chopper was about.
Oh, what a guy, yeah. Old Fletch. What is he? Is he still at Manchester United just now?
Yeah, so the boys have just signed as well.
Right, okay. Yeah, top man, top player.
I think last we checked, the twins, one plays for England, one plays for Scotland.
Right.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He told you that night as well, but well, you know.
I can't even remember.
I know that. That was my point. That was my point.
I'm doubting that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll move on. Get your answers into the teaser. Good save from Aston Oxborough to deny a Ronan Hale free kick. Two sort of new names with that fixture, because Liam Kelly played all the time for Motherwell. Oxborough's had to wait his turn, and Ronan Hale, a new signing for County. Let's bring in Craig, who's a Rangers fan. Craig, how do you look back on it now?
Aye, good afternoon, guys. I'm not long back for the game, and I don't know. I suppose you can tell from my voice, I wasn't very impressed from the game today, and I kind of lost my voice a wee bit for shouting at them, especially to Tavernier, because I'm sure you've seen for the TV, we were in a kind of corner today, in the second half. Tavernier was doing this kind of like slow down motion to the players in the second half, and I was like, what is this? You know, slow down, it's like 0-0, 65 minutes, and I think it was the Cherny or something was taking a throw in, and he was telling them to slow down. I just didn't get that at all, and my main reason kind of for the call was I was on the bus coming home, and my mate sent me this clip, and I genuinely thought it was like a misquote or something, and I listened to the full thing, and Clement's like, oh, we took a good point from a team that finished third. And that just set me off, and it was like, I get we need to give the guy time, and this, that and the other, and Rangers fans are notoriously impatient, I get all that, but we gave Gerrard time, we gave Walter Smith time, Walter Smith was winning trophies, but we gave him time to, sit about what he was doing, and Gerrard, because we could see a plan of action, but with Van Bronckhorst, there was signs there could be a plan of action. Michael Beale was absolutely nothing, but this guy, there's nothing there. It's hoofball, and like I was saying to your producer, it's like we're playing hoofball for 65 minutes to Dessers, and most of the time the wide players aren't in the right position to get the flick-ons. Tom Lawrence's legs are gone after about 50 minutes, and we're all shouting, get Danilo on, get the ball in behind, get Danilo on, even if he's not fit. And it's just, his subs just baffle me, and I just don't get it. I just don't get it. I think we can understand this project thing, and like I say, you get time in Glasgow. I hate going back about the other side of the city, but with that guy they had a couple of years ago that's moved to Tottenham, sorry for saying disrespectful, but they gave him time because they could see what he was doing, and it happened. But with this Big Phil, and I bought into it to begin with, but now it's just there's nothing there. There's just nothing there.
Didn't take Ange Postecoglou long, to be fair. Again, it was maybe a couple of weeks, but won the title in his first season. Anyway, Hugh, the tactics, the style, that's the bit that Craig is concerned about. I think, over a season you might draw at Tynecastle. Like Celtic lost there last season and romped the league and won the best team by a mile. It can happen. However, it's a bigger picture for Craig.
The first thing that struck me about the extension to the contract was based on what precisely? He won the League Cup.
But that's what we said last night, wasn't it? That wasn't it wasn't like a reward for huge success. It was some sort of commitment, some sort of statement that they're all in this together, long-term project, etc.
That there was belief on both sides. The board's belief in the manager's belief in the club. However, things will come along very quickly. As Craig will be only too well aware, Dynamo Kiev in Poland on Tuesday. £4 million at stake. If you go into the final playoff round of the Champions League, you get £4 million. That would buy Rangers 1, maybe 2 players before the end of the window. So it's vitally important, on top of getting into the playoff round and then getting into the tournament proper at the group stage. So it's a big night in Poland for Philippe Clement. And then, as Craig will be only too well aware, he's got the Celtic game to come on the 1st of September, and that will be so important in terms of the progress of the league. And I know that people keep on saying you can't go on sacking managers, but the man will gradually and very definitely come under pressure if he's not in the Champions League, if he doesn't get to the playoff round, if he loses to Celtic, then he will come under growing pressure on an extended contract.
There is no one size fits all solution to tactics, Gordon DL, and those balls over the top, they're not all super long. Some are a bit more measured. If Dessers brings a couple down and sticks them in the net, no problem. But when the odd one that is measured doesn't hit the target, you then add it into all the ones that just run through to nobody or run through to the goalkeeper, and then you're dropping points, then it does feel like there's there's just not that sort of dominance over the 90 minutes that Rangers fans expect.
Yeah, I'm not expecting Rangers not to play the balls because it nearly worked for them. Dessers was a bit unlucky in 2 occasions, but at no time did they play wide men, and they've got 2 full-backs that overlap all the time. They play very high up the pitch. At no time did I see any Rangers players really getting in behind the Hearts defence and causing problems. I keep going back to, I listened to the Rangers manager talking about, you know, what's going to happen at Tynecastle. It was like there was going to be something different, and I was so looking forward to it, because I did think, right, let him get to the summer. I know that he's not brought in a lot of his own players, but he's still got a decent squad there to work with. But the pattern of play was the exact same for me. And if you play against top teams like that, you're not really going to hurt them. I would have been, look, I think I agree with the boys. First game away from home, Hearts, Tynecastle, point, okay, it's not a disaster. But I just look at Rangers just now, and if I was a Rangers fan and somebody says to me, do you think we'll win the league? Absolutely no chance in the world unless something dramatic changes. Now, where I will agree with you is, I know all the points that was made, because I listened to a bit of the show last night. I can't understand the extension to this contract. I really don't. I don't get that. As much as you can tell me, well, it's a commitment from the manager to the... Because if Rangers go this season and say, for instance, they don't win anything at all, and it's the same thing like here, Rangers fans will not accept that. I will not accept that.
I suppose that's the point, though, isn't it, Mark? That if you look at it the other way, the contract doesn't change any of that. If Philippe Clement wants to quit tonight, he can, or would. And if Rangers lose their next 20 games and want to bin him, they will. It was never about that. I'm not saying it'll definitely work in time, but it was clearly more of a, like we said, a show of commitment to each other. Yeah. Just
it's
a show.
It's
not a guaranteed
PR exercise, I think, for the fans. A message to the fans that the board and the manager are on the same page, and they don't just have the short-term future in their sights, the long-term future. And I suppose it fills the back pages when Clement's holding the top and it says 4 years or whatever, and people will fall for that. But you're both right. You know, it's all dependent on how the here and now. If Rangers go from now to Christmas and have runs at disastrous results, then the 4-year contract isn't worth anything. Equally, if he does do well and Rangers somehow win the league and they win trophies this year, then that commitment, it's a foundations for something to be built upon for the other years.
He has to hope, and Craig can tell us what he thinks about this, but Clement has to hope that Robin Proper is a real player, because he's going to have to marshal that entire defence.
Craig?
Yeah, listen, I mean, I agree. Sorry to say this, Hugh, but it's not often I agree with you. But I do agree. The new centre-half has to come in and hit the ground running, because, I mean, I heard the thing on the bus, as I say, I was at the game today, and it was like, oh, we're glad Goldson's gone, and, you know, Ben Davies is still there. And he hooked Ben Davies at just after half-time, because it was getting done in that inside left channel. So, yeah, the signings, and what I find kind of odd about Clement's comments, again, I listen, I haven't obviously, but mentioning John Lundstrom was weird to me, because the guy's gone and he didn't contribute a whole lot apart from the Seville season when he was here. And I mean, I've mentioned my age on the show a few times. This to me smacks of the Paul Le Guen season. It's a rebuilding job, but Rangers can't be a rebuilding job. And I genuinely feel, even though I've handed this guy a new contract, it would not surprise me if Derek McInnes was to come in December, January time, because I can't see, I mean, the manager was doing this because I think it was Gordon there mentioned he wants his wing backs to be wide. He wants Tav to be wide and he wants Ridvan to be wide, but then he wants them to come in and be inverted. But the wingers don't know what to do. They don't know if they're to be wingers or inverted inverted forwards. It's so disjointed, it's unreal. And this is in the back of having a full summer. And Connor Barron is the only one that started today. That's what I can't wrap my head around. Like 12 months ago, I wasn't this enraged, because even though it was Michael Beale, he had 5 new players starting against Marnock on that pitch. And I thought, right, just give him a bit of time. Let's see what he can do. Philip Clement's signing players for £2 million and saying they're not going to be ready for the first team. You can't do that at Rangers at the moment. £2 million could potentially get Lauren Shankland at this potential moment, because he's going to be a free agent in January. And he's spending £2 million on an unknown guy that's not ready for the first team, when you can go and get someone that bullied Ben Davies today. It just doesn't make sense, guys. It just doesn't make sense.
I mean, it won't be a free agent in January, it'll be the end of the season, but I take the point, that's when you can start to talk. I've seen a few people, Craig is obviously one of them, on social media, jumping right on, two-footed onto this comment that Philippe Clement's made today. He wasn't asked about John Lundstram, he offered his opinion that Rangers missed John Lundstram. That's not gone down well with the Rangers fans.
Nor should it, because it's a clumsy thing to say. In the wake of the first day of the season in which you dropped 2 points, how can you say that you miss him? You let him go. So
I think, Stephen, if you're a player, if you're Diamandi or you're Connor Barron in that central midfield, and you think, I've done okay today, and you read those comments from your manager saying that you miss a player in your position,
especially
I wouldn't like that.
Actually, Gordon, in isolation, there wasn't loads to love about Rangers, but arguably the best player, one of them,
Connor
Barron.
Yeah,
replaced John Lundstram.
It's a ridiculous statement to come out with. It really is. Sometimes I wonder about the Rangers manager. I know the Rangers fans absolutely love him. They're delighted he signed. Mark said there, well, that 4-year contract isn't really worth anything. Well, if they pay him off, it's worth a right few million quid. So that's why I was baffled, because the Rangers
it was an extra year.
Yeah, but it's still extra money. But look, neither here or there. He's got to go and win. I don't think Rangers fans are impressed with what's happening in the pitch. Right? You look at today, as I keep saying, I listen to the manager, I'm ready to buy into him. I think he's a good, strong character. But like the Rangers fans, show me something else apart from just playing long, hopeful balls.
We give foreign managers, and this is not a bad thing, but we give them a lot of respect, because we think, oh, here's this man who's had a backstory in Belgium or whoever it may be, and we give the foreign managers a lot of respect and time and think, nod our heads and think, yeah. And then, after a while, you think, what's he talking about? And Philippe Clement is in danger of falling into that category.
Craig's not happy. How do you feel out there? Give us a call. He's on, Gordon. The Motherwell fans are singing There's Only One, Apostolos Stamatolopoulos. He's on. He's replaced Zach Robinson. A big money signing in Motherwell's terms, but £250,000 spent, so better be good.
Yeah, listen, he'll need time to settle in, of course he will, but he could make his sell. You know what, like us, he's a striker, you come on that pitch, first game, at home, tight game, you get a goal. All of a sudden, everything's rosy in the garden.
Remind us of your teaser, Hugh.
Yes, indeed.
Lennon Miller's gone off, Ross Callaghan replacing him, so one of the summer signings who's not played, actually, he's been out injured. Sorry, Hugh.
I assume Lennon Miller's injured, otherwise why would you take him off? Anyway, I played alongside Oni Coyle and Darren Fletcher. I have been managed by John McGlynn and Walter Smith. I won major honours with each of the top 3 clubs in the Scottish Premiership last season. Who am I?
I'm going, I think, too early. I think we've been too kind in the opening day, but it's good to get everyone taking part. The gooseneck might be joking and has gone for Barkas. That's going to be something. Ryan Wilson says Paul McGowan.
No.
Okay, we were just missing out certain parts of the question, so at Clyde SSB if you want to take part in that. And speaking of at Clyde SSB, don't forget we're asking you for your biggest, boldest, most outlandish prediction for the season ahead. Some of them have been brilliant, some real imagination gone into them, really thought through. Some are quite funny, you can approach it whichever way you want, but I do like the way that you've gone about your business here. The Gucci belt has gone for Graham Murty to be back in at some point in the season. Come on. Come on. Dylan thinks Hugh Keevins will be even speckier. I don't know how that's going to work, I have to say.
New lenses, Hugh.
An even bigger tube.
Kev thinks Falkirk to win the championship and Dundee to finish 4th. So that's a more traditional pre-season prediction. Michael says the Dazzler to go for a nose transplant.
Oh, that could happen.
Stop it.
Wish they had Damon Turkey.
Manny Livy, back-to-back relegations.
Do you know I was going to go for that one? And I bowed out it.
Go up today to the Dunfermline.
I'd have thought about that as well the other night there when I was making a prediction.
Davy Martindale, he will see things through. They won't go down. They won't come back up, but they won't go down.
I get it. Sometimes you stop the rot, and we've seen it with like Hamilton Accies and so on. But you still look through that team, Mark. I'm looking at it today. They are 1-up against Dunfermline. The goal scored by Andrew Shinnie. Scott Pittman. Scored by Pittman, assisted by Shinnie. I reckon there's still a couple of teams in the top flight would take Scott Pittman, right?
Yeah.
I think there are more than a couple of teams in the top flight would take Stephen Kelly.
Yep.
Tete Yengi. We know, I'm not saying it's still the case, but good experience has been there. Ryan McGowan, Livy, Jamie Brandon, even, I don't think that's a dreadful team.
It's not, but I suppose it comes down to the real desire within the team. When you get a couple of aging pros playing in the Championship, it's okay when you're playing the Premier League and you've got that challenge that you want to compete with the best. I think it takes a bit away when you drop down the level.
Goal again in the Championship.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Can this man fire heir to a good season? They've doubled their advantage, and it's Anton Dowds. Nice finish from him, and it makes it Hamilton Accies 0, Ayr United 2. Looks like Scott Brown will have 3 points to kick off the new season.
And the Accies have gone down to 10 men because of a red card. So Bruni, his start in coaching at Pittodrie wasn't successful. He's been to Fleetwood Town, partly successful, but he's gradually learning the business, and Ayr United smartened up their old ground. I think they'll have a good season.
Some of these predictions are just so out there, I don't even know if they're tongue-in-cheek or not, but that's the beauty of it. WSG NYC, I'm listening in NYC, and Spurs to replace Ange with Brendan Rodgers, he says. I did ask for your out there predictions, that's for sure, and that would be out there.
No, Brendan's here for
Brendan
3 years, isn't he?
He wouldn't go.
Kevin says you're going to get a hole in one and buy everyone in the clubhouse a drink.
That's a possibility, because I'm playing some good stuff today.
Hitting the ball well, were you?
Played this morning?
Yes. Yeah, I was there 6:30 ready to tee off.
Good on you, okay. What else have we got here? Yeah, still quite a lot of very interesting predictions coming in.
The funny thing, with 3 callers now, 3 Rangers fans, there's no positivity anywhere. I'm not trying to get Rangers off the hook, and I've admitted that in the space of 30 days things could rush up to meet Philippe Clement and he might not be prepared for it. I'm just interested that so far not one note of positivity from the Rangers fans about Clement, about anything that he does.
Is it not the type of result and performance that the best you can hope for is that thing we said of a point at Tynecastle's not that bad? There wasn't more than that, and it was, or that's the problem.
No,
you can't get more positive than that, really.
And no one's even said that yet.
But I think if you get that point and it's 0-0 today at Tynecastle, and you've coming off the back of a positive pre-season campaign where you've taken on some of the bigger guns and you've come out with positive results and good performances, then you go, oh, that's fine. It's just maybe a wee bit of an off day. Problem is that's maybe one of the best Rangers have played in the last 4 weeks or 5 weeks since they reported back, and it's a long way from where they should be.
I thought second half they were a lot better. I didn't think they played particularly well in the first half, but I think that once he changed 1 or 2 things about, second half they played a bit better.
Before we take more calls, and please do keep them coming, Rangers fans or anyone else out there, let's hear a bit from Stephen Naismith.
Again, as I said before the game, I think it was an entertaining game for a nothing each. I I know the headlines will all be Rangers have dropped points and all that, but I think we should have won the game. I think we created good chances, we had really good moments, we had more of them. I thought first half our performance was really good. They then need to change what they're doing to try and get a foothold in the game, and they did to a point, but I think it was all in front of us. It never really causes too many problems. They're direct, so in the percentages of the game they're going to get some chances on the back of that directness, but I thought we played really well today. The only thing was missing was a goal or two.
I think that's an honest assessment. I think we all agreed with that. It was an entertaining game. I think Hearts shaded it. I know Rangers were a wee bit better in the second half, but overall the 90 minutes I thought Hearts shaded it. I thought even in the second half Stephen Naismith's right, they had opportunities and moments in the Rangers box without really catching things cleanly. So I think he can be pleased with his start to the season, because he's still trying to piece together new players into his squad as well, but it shows that they're progressing. Hearts are going to be a tough team to beat, I think. If they keep all their players, and especially Shankland, they'll certainly finish third, but it's just how close they can get to Rangers will be the interesting thing.
Always good when you make a signing in the summer and the fans take them. Gordon Dalziel, you could see Gerald Taylor, even from right back, the home fans really enjoyed him.
He was sensational. I was very impressed with him. Obviously I'd never seen him before, Gordon. He was up against Cortez. I think Rangers fans and the manager expecting big things from him. Back fit, unfortunately he had to limp off after 50 minutes, but he was getting nothing out of Taylor at all. Absolutely nothing. He seems to have everything in his locker, that lad, and for his first game at Tynecastle, and a difficult game, you've got to say, against Rangers, I thought he was excellent. Man of match for me.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's quite odd to say that in that game where there's chances, in both boxes, that the right back was such a standout, but he just looked, good at 1v1s, good distribution, which you've got to have as a right back, because even when he had time the ball he could pick a pass, but powerful at running forward. And you seen that glimpse in the first half where he broke up the play and he just eliminated.
Here's the biggest compliment I can give that boy this afternoon. I think he's got a longer throw-in than Fraser Wisher had when he was at Motherwell.
It was quite something.
Possible,
yeah,
I have to say.
I'm telling you.
Partick Thistle looking for a winner, but no clear-cut chances. Bannigan's on for Crawford there. Ayr have made a couple of subs. Murphy and Silla on for Roos and Henderson, but Ayr already look like they've got the 3 points in the bag. Livy are 2-0 up on Dunfermline, and is that man that we said, Stephen Kelly, good player.
Rumblings at East End Park. They're not happy with the fans, not happy with the progress that's been made in terms of the Premier Sports Cup, and this won't cheer anyone up either. But well done, Davy Martindale. As I say, I don't think he'll come back up, but you never know. But he certainly will not go down as one of the gentlemen on the social media would have us believe.
You could pick about 4 or 5 teams to win that division this year. There's not a big standout like Dundee United and Dundee before that and whatever, but there's a lot of teams evenly matched in that division. It's just about a little bit of luck, keeping your key players fit, and just try to string results together. I'm really hoping for Ayr. Since I've left, I've always watched their progress, and I'm just hoping somebody would take over a mantle that's never been taken over before.
Are you warmly welcomed back there, are you?
I've never been back.
Never been back. Joking aside, it's a big season for Scott Birmingham, because Hugh mentioned his previous clubs and getting into coaching, and he took on the Ayr job last season. I think it was a surprise to everybody that he took that job or decided to step down a level to take that, because I'm pretty sure he could have got coaching jobs elsewhere. But he's had the summer like every other manager to work in tactics and to bring in players, and you should see a reflection of him on the pitch now. A good start, but it's a good league to be involved in. You have every chance of winning it, so it'll be a real test for him to see where he is in his managerial career.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a winning start, you would have to imagine, unless something changes. For talking bold predictions,
go.
Andy Halliday's close to a 90-minute.
Close, but he's not quite completed it yet, Gordon.
He made 26 league appearances last season.
26.
Didn't make the 90-minute mark. This could be the day. Come on.
What, in 26 appearances didn't make 90 minutes? He must be looking over a kettle going, what are you doing?
See if you think about it, some of that won't be that surprising. Think about it. At the start at Hearts, he was limited to substitution appearances. Then you go to Motherwell, not played a lot. I don't think that's as dramatic as it sounds.
Apparently in the taxi he sat behind his wife because he was used to it going to the register office.
Jeez. It's not one of your better jokes, I have to say. Not one of your best. I like Sandra's prediction because why not? Rangers will score more goals but Celtic will still win the league. Okay.
No, that's not going to happen.
But Desser's my top goal scorer.
And we're sticking the boot in as well. Dave thinks that 4 Premiership managers won't see the end of the season.
I was going to be one of mine. How many? I was going to put
the
6.
Season's average?
4 or 5.
So how many?
It's been growing.
How many changed last season?
4 or 5 average it is. I looked that up because I was going to make the same prediction.
Does he name them?
We'll take last season as an example.
Hibs.
Rangers, I'm going down the table as it stands just now just for ease. So Rangers changed, Aberdeen definitely changed, Dundee didn't, United didn't, Hibs definitely did, Killie didn't, Motherwell didn't, County did. St Johnstone did, St Mirren didn't. 5. Well, that's the teams that are in it currently. So
can we go to 6 this year?
Is that the challenge?
That's the challenge.
That right?
Go one more.
Try and go one better every season.
Who'll be the first? Go on, Hugh.
Oh, that's a bold prediction.
Yeah, a bold prediction.
That's a good one.
Craig Levine.
He's a great survivor, though, isn't he?
And are St Johnstone the type of club? I know they did it with Stephen McLean.
I know, but my logic is things will go from bad to worse, and the new American owner will say, well, unless I make a change at the top, we are going down.
Yeah. Great save from Ross Laidlaw. Ewan Wilson's strike on the bounce, 25 yards out. Still no closer. Well, we're getting a bit closer, but no opener there at Fir Park. Still Motherwell 0, Ross County 0.
Now there's Airdrie one up in Wraith Rovers. Rhys McCabe, this guy for me is one of the...
Right then, there's your prediction. Rhys McCabe gets the first Premiership job that becomes available. Unless it's
Motherwell job.
One of
Would you have him for Motherwell?
And Airdrie. Could you possibly?
Would you not have him there? Nice, attractive football.
I think Kettlewell will survive. But anyway, there you go. That could be one. Rhys McCabe to get the first Premiership job.
He's certainly making a name for himself. Terrific season last season. Looks like he may be off to a good start this season as well. Yeah, I think 1 or 2 chairman, directors, chief execs, whatever you want to say, will be probably keeping an eye on that young lad.
Another one I took under my wing.
Okay.
Right, yep. Brought him in at Brecon.
Jeez.
You see, that Brecon's a launch pad for success.
You were the only one that wasn't successful at Brecon.
Exactly. I sacrificed my own success for all these guys that are raking it in there.
Let me tell you, you've done a real good job here.
That's the type of guy I am.
Double change for Motherwell. Club captain Paul McGinn comes on. Dylan Wells, a youngster alongside him, and it's Shane Blenny and Moses Ibiye who go off.
My pal Paul McGinn. Had a good chat with him.
On Germany. I went the other way.
Oh, poor man. Oh, I tell you.
Paul McGinn appeared to have been staying in a hotel close to us in Munich, Gordon. The rest of us went on a walking tour because we're cultured. The Dazzler stayed behind. He bumped into Paul McGinn and chewed the ear off him for so long that Paul McGinn ended up walking ages in the wrong direction just because he
to get shot of him.
Get rid. Get rid. So he sent a message to Stephen McGinn to tell him this, who forwarded it on to me, and we had great fun ridiculing the Dazzler. So.
Germany seems a long time ago now, doesn't it?
It doesn't have
a long time.
Not to make fun of the financial gulf between our league and the English Premier League, but I was interviewing Paul McGinn the other day about being captain, and it got me thinking, what do you think Motherwell's fines system is that he has to uphold versus the one that John has in place at Villa?
Oh,
you know, at Motherwell it'll be a £5 for doing a pee in the showers or whatever it is. I just wonder what the price tag is at Villa if you step out of line.
It's all relative. It all goes back in the players'
20
pockets
times that
for Christmas.
Minimum £100.
What for?
Anything.
Villa?
Honestly, they'll be huge.
A Villa?
Oh, no.
Oh, you're joking me.
Well,
Villa?
it'll be thousands for lateness.
Yeah.
It's all relative to what you're taking home at the end of the month in your pay packet, Hugh.
Aye.
£100 for those Villa boys.
What was it Marvin was telling us the other night?
Urinals.
It
If it was
might-
£100.
In the centre circle. I'm not going to the toilet. There's £100.
It might have been at one of the
Get 200
breaks.
with me.
Forgive me, but Marvin was obviously away playing in that celebrity
Oh, in
seven-a-side
America.
tournament, wasn't he? With JJ Watt of NFL fame, and he was explaining it's for every pound that they come back overweight after pre-season, for every pound it's like $1,000.
Oh.
Fine.
Oh. Oh, you win you'd spend the first
It might
2
have been
bits
even
of your
more than
holiday
that.
just not eating and
Might-
losing pounds.
It might have been even more than that, but it was something.
Imagine that the night before. You would be on these scales panicking.
Yeah, you'd be
All your
sleeping-
gear.
You'd be sleeping in the sauna, wouldn't you?
With a bin bag on.
Sweating.
I don't think they missed the cash over there for what
Remember
it's
the
worth.
old bin? But did you ever do that?
No,
No,
not my
please,
day, but I've seen old
before
people
you went
doing
in.
it.
Oh,
Hugh, let's round off the teaser in case we get late
Okay.
drama.
The second half teaser.
With the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
I played alongside Owen Coyle and Darren Fletcher. I was managed by John McGlynn and Walter Smith. I won major honours with each of the top 3 teams in the Scottish Premiership last season. I am Stephen Presley.
Stephen Presley, loads of you got it. Gordon DL got it extremely quickly as well. So fair play. Really, really good effort out there. Maybe a gentle question to ease you into the new season. But you can only answer what's in front of you, as the statement goes. So what have we got on the podium? David Forrest in 3rd place. Well done to you, David. Benny was the 2nd fastest. Well done, Benny. But no one was as quick as Ewan Waddle. Well done to you. You punched there. You thought I was going to say you.
I was taking the glory there.
You did get it fairly quickly.
I
but
did.
in
It was
terms
quite
of
easy,
the
actually.
Contestants, well done to you. And now I'm trying to leave a gap for a late drama. Are we getting any at Partick Thistle? Are we getting any at Motherwell?
No, I don't
we've
think
done
so.
A couple of more goalless
Disappointing,
draws
eh?
to start the season. Maybe we're saving
Flat.
it up. Maybe it'll be a blockbuster day for goals tomorrow. Who knows?
And Monday.
And Monday. Yes, indeed.
Who's Monday? Aberdeen, St
Johnstone,
Johnstone.
Aberdeen.
No goals there. That'll be drab. But
Yimmy.
tomorrow,
Yimmy Thielen.
is he Yimmy or is he Jimmy?
So,
Did he say yesterday
Yimmy.
Jimmy?
By all accounts, he is Yimmy. But he has sort of accepted that Jimmy's okay and it might well happen, and fine.
I'll get shortened to Jim.
He'll take
in about
Jimmy.
3 months.
Jazza.
He says he'll take Jimmy. But
Jimmy,
Yimmy.
okay.
JT.
It's going to be interesting to see how that pans out, because I'm reading a few of the Aberdeen players' comments saying it's not going to be a quick fix and it's going to take time. But we know the Aberdeen fans don't enjoy giving people time at all.
I liked Cherney of Rangers. I liked his style yesterday. I don't know if I said it earlier. He came in and someone asked him a question and they said Vaclav. Anyway, it's Vaslav. And just that's what you need.
Yeah.
Let's get it right early on. I mean, we're about 10 years in and we're still hearing Tavernier. So you've got
I know.
you've got to try and do them quickly. But yeah, Vaslav straight away. Just put him in his place.
That's good.
And what did you say back to him?
Wasn't me.
All right.
What did you think of Cherney and his cameo appearance today?
Yeah, I thought he looked. He's got a bit about him. I thought he looked like he's a tricky. He tends to come inside quite a lot onto that favoured left foot. It'll be interesting. Difficult debut for him.
He's another one that has to hit the ground running. Because
I think he's capable of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just had a wee feeling about him. I think he looks very comfy on the ball.
it's unbelievable that the Tuesday night, when you're talking about the first week of August, and Rangers are facing this match with a £4 million side stake and needing Vaslav Cherney and needing Robin Propper to be absolute stars.
One of the other callers made the point, and it's something we can elaborate on by all means, because the phone lines are open right now and we're here until 6 o'clock, so get your thoughts over. Not a great endorsement of Danilo's fitness, would you say, that when you're looking for a goal you don't bring him on at all and Dessers leads the line for the 95 minutes?
Bit surprised with that, Gordon. I don't know what sort of a how many games he got over the pre-season.
He's played a bit. Clement was asked yesterday, and he said it was just about getting him back to his top level.
Would it have not been ideal then? Because obviously, whether he's looked at the situation that Dessers had 3 good opportunities today, and he was hoping that maybe if another one landed to him, he could find the back of net, which would have made the difference. But I was a bit surprised. If you've got someone like Danilo there, you need a bit of freshness up front, stick him on and see what he's got. You know, what's 15-20 minutes? You know, it's not going to be any problem with fitness doing that. So, interesting why you never used that substitution.
Well, chance for County in injury time, looking for a bit of robbery. The corner comes in and Nightingale gets the contact, but it goes over the crossbar. 0-0. By the looks of it, not a stunningly entertaining opening to the season, but you crack on. So there we go.
And Rangers have Motherwell next, don't they?
Yeah, at Hampden.
Yeah, so you know, Stuart Kettlewell, the infamous game with Partick Thistle, leaving aside the administrative error, by all accounts a terrible performance from Motherwell. Today at home, goalless again. Franz will be restive, and you have to think that Rangers surely can't make a mess of it at Hampden, their first game there in front of 50,000 people against a Motherwell team who can't score.
Yeah, it'll be interesting next week here. I thought that's why, if you're Motherwell, you're looking at home fixture against Ross County. Couple of difficult ones coming up. Kilmarnock, Hearts after Rangers. So it's quite a difficult start. And when you're looking at teams that you think's got to be round about you, because I think Motherwell will be down there scrapping, then I think you've got to try and go off to a good start and win these games.
Grumbles from the home fans as Dan Casey passes the ball straight out of play just at a time in the game. We're hoping for a winner.
Well, Stama from the Newcastle Jets down under, he had better hit the ground running as well, because Motherwell are in the market for someone who can stick the ball in the net.
Yes, Stamatopoulos
on
the pitch for his debut today, but no chances by the sounds of it. I don't think we can hold it against him solely. Motherwell's best chance probably came early on. It was Zach Robinson, remember, through on goal, 1-on-1, put it past the post. That was a huge chance, and it might be the one they look back on with some regret. It is full time. Let's go to Andrew, who's at Fir Park.
Motherwell 0, Ross County 0, the full-time score at Fir Park. Actually a few boos from the home fans when that full-time whistle went. It is a point each, but Motherwell I think really should have won this game. They had the better openings, were just unable to take them. The first big chance came from a Will Nightingale mistake. He was robbed about 35 yards out from his own goal by Zach Robinson. Robinson drove into the box, opened up onto his left foot, curled that one wide when he probably should have scored. The next big chance fell to Moses Abiye. Ewan Wilson it was that got to the byline, cut it back for Abiye about 6 yards out. He could only direct the shot towards Ross Laidlaw. He still had to be alert. He reacted, the ball bounced back into a crowded area after that, and Wilson was the one that got onto it and shot over. Into the second half, Dan Casey's looping deep cross was overhit. It was actually going to drop underneath the bar. Laidlaw had to punch it over. Ross County managed to test Aston Oxborough for the first time after that. It was Ronan Hale. Look at the scorers for a third consecutive game for the Staggies, but his free kick was pushed wide. Jordan White also flicked a header over the crossbar, and that was it really for the danger that the visitors caused. The final significant effort came from Ewan Wilson. The ball bounced up really nicely for him, 25 yards out, caught it well, but Laidlaw was there to make the diving save. So I think it will be frustration for Stuart Kettlewell and the Motherwell fans that they haven't come away from this one with all 3 points. Don Cowie and Ross County probably happy on the basis of things to take a point up the road with them. The full-time score at Fir Park, Motherwell 0, Ross County 0.
Motherwell fans, why don't you give us a call? Let us know what you made of it. It's full time in the Championship as well. Let's go Firhill with Fraser Wishart.
Yeah, Partick Thistle 0, Morton 0, similar story to Fir Park, no goals. Home fans not particularly happy. It is not the result that Thistle were looking for to start the home campaign, but to be honest, apart from a 15-minute spell in the first half, he didn't feel that Thistle were going to score the winning goal, mainly down to a strong performance by Morton. He did really well. Veteran captain Kurt Broadfoot, absolutely outstanding. Morton actually started the game as the better team early on and had a great chance in 9 minutes. Luke Macbeth was shot at a pass back, and Ali Crawford, new signing, just ran onto the loose ball, squared the ball to J. Emmanuel Thomas. He should have scored, a real sitter, but you have to give the goalkeeper credit. Miles Roberts saved with his legs. Thistle slowly took control of the game. Kyle Turner just wide with a free kick. Scott Robinson close on a couple of occasions. Ryan Mullen in the Morton goal. As we approached half-time, a couple of good saves from Aidan Fitzpatrick and one from Harry Milne, header from close range. But his goals at half-time, he did feel a Thistle goal was coming as we reached the break, but it was Morton who, similar to the first half, started the second. The better team. Garrity just wide with a really good effort. First time with his left foot from an Ian Wilson pass. Then Roberts had to move quickly to push a deflected Moffat shot over the bar as Morton threatened to open the scoring. Thistle fans coming a bit frustrated. Fitzpatrick's shot ricocheted off a few defenders, gratefully grabbed by Mullen. As similar to the first half, Thistle began to take control. But as quiet as it was in the stands, it was as quiet on the field of play. Despite being a better team, Thistle really didn't look likely to score a winner. Morton back four, defending really well, very comfortable, and not a chance for either side in the last 20 minutes, and neither team, to be honest, looked like they could even score the winning goal. A draw, fair result over the piece. I think we might see a lot of draws in the Championship this season. Full time at Firhill, Partick Thistle 0, Morton 0.
What about Hamilton then against Ayr United, Dave Galloway?
Hamilton 0, Ayr 2 is how it finished here. Ayr started the better side, and they went close when Frankie Masonda's header was tipped over acrobatically by Charlie Albinson. A really fine save, that one. And from the resultant corner kick, Ayr deservedly went ahead on 19 minutes. George Stanger prodding home from close range. Frankie Masonda was close to doubling the lead with a shot from distance as the honest men kept up the pressure, but the hosts, they rolled their sleeves up, they rallied, and Kevin O'Hara's well struck shot was turned round the post by Harry Stone. A brilliant stop, and Stephen Bradley's effort was deflected for a corner. A couple of minutes into the second half, Frankie Masonda's close range effort hit the post for Ayr, and at the other end, Kyle MacDonald smashed in a drive that struck the bar. Hamilton's task though became even tougher when Scott Martin was sent off for a second yellow card after a crunching challenge. That was after 67 minutes, and Ayr doubled their lead on 72. A great run by Marco Roos. He fed Anton Dowds, who scored with a lovely cool finish. Accies, to their credit, they kept at it with their 10 men, and Cal MacDonald's shot hit the post late on. But it's victory for Scott Brown's side in an entertaining, hard-fought encounter. Hamilton Accies 0, Ayr United 2.
A cagey day for Partick Thistle. Fraser Wisher's predicting a number of draws in the Championship this season, and a cagey one for Park as well.
Yeah, not the open start to the season that we would have hoped for, but I think it will liven up. I mean, teams are still getting used to their new players coming in and new systems and new opposition, so here's hoping tomorrow we'll see plenty of goals, but there was certainly a lack of them today.
Anyway, the open line has, well, the phones have been open for quite some time, but I suppose we move into that official part of the show between 5 and 6 where we really focus on taking your calls. So Rangers fans, what did you make of the game at Tynecastle? Are there worrying signs? What were those worrying signs? Are you fearing for the remainder of the season already, or is it all an overreaction and Tynecastle's a tough place to go? Let us know please. 01419511025. Motherwell fans, is that a frustrating start to the league season for you? Partick Thistle fans, join in, similar question. And on to tomorrow if you so wish. Celtic fans, how are you feeling about your title defence now? Who would you play tomorrow? What does the team look like? 01419511025. And what we're going to do this season is we'll go back to our midweek routine. We will live stream the next part of the show between now and 6. You can catch us on YouTube as well, so join in however you want. 01419511025, and we'll speak to you next.
The Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast
with Lookers Jaguar. Looking to sell your Jaguar? Contact them today for a no obligation quotation.
Meet Sage Copilot, your new AI productivity assistant that automates tasks to keep your business running smoothly.
Copilot, help me pay my suppliers this week.
So, if you're a barber like Alfie, it could mean spending more time on what really matters, like more back and sides for his customers.
Oh, perfect. Cheers, Alfie.
Small businesses could save 4 days a month on financial admin. Search Sage Copilot to get early access today. Sage, helping business flow. Meet Sage Copilot, your new AI productivity assistant that understands natural language so you can get straight to what you need.
Copilot, draft emails to chase unpaid invoices.
So, if you're a baker, like Diana, it could mean spending more time on what really matters. That's more carrot cake she can bake. Small businesses could save 4 days a month on financial admin. Search Sage Copilot to get early access today. Sage, helping business flow.
The Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast.
With Lucas Volvo. Book a test drive for the Volvo EX30 today. Head online for details.
After the action, it's your reaction. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
Hugh Keevins, Mark Wilson and Gordon Dalziel are still here as we reflect on the opening Saturday of the new Scottish League season. 0141 951 1025 to join in, and please do. We've even relocated during the break. We're now on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, live streaming the show as we do during the week. Hugh Keevins is just plugging his headphones in just to make sure
he was busy turning mine down, so I couldn't hear it. Yours is over there, Hugh.
Anyway, give us a call.
Technical.
Give us a call. Let's look back together on the opening Saturday. So Rangers fans, I suspect, will hear you the loudest based on the fact that you opened with a 0-0 draw against Hearts over there at Tynecastle. It was the same scoreline later on, though, when Motherwell hosted Ross County. So again, Motherwell fans, how are you feeling? We can look forward to tomorrow. Celtic fans, what are you expecting? Who should play? Are you super confident you get off to that winning start already? Put some daylight in there against your city rivals. Any team lineup predicaments or suggestions for us? Same number, championship today, no goals in Partick Thistle's opener. Same number though, 0141 951 1025. Look, we accept it. It's spread out a bit across the weekend, but we're back, Hugh Keevins. Scottish football is back.
Yeah, we're back with immediate talking points because Philippe Clement said things after the game at Tynecastle that the Rangers fans disagree with. Why on earth he brings up John Lundstrom's name in conversation and says that Rangers missed him is a mystery to me, because you let him go, so you don't get to make that comment.
I think in theory wanted to keep him, couldn't make the money work, whatever.
Well, after one game, to tell your players that, oh, do you know what, you're not doing it, we really missed John Lundstrom. Everything about Rangers today was open to conjecture where the Rangers fans were concerned. Not happy with Tavernier, certainly not happy with Ben Davies. I repeat, Robin Proper will need to come in and take charge of the back four for Rangers, because they really need someone. In that regard, they are struggling.
But at the same time, it's important to keep cool heads. I get the frustration from Rangers fans because they expect to win every game and they expect to get off to a real good start to catch a Celtic side, but still a difficult fixture. I guess new players are still coming into the fold, still learning the ways of the club, so again, it's no disaster when you look at the overall picture, when you think how good Hearts were last season at Tynecastle, especially from January to May, and they were unbeaten and they've started the exact same way. So you have to take those sorts of things, but they will have to be better, there's no doubt about it, and it's the style of play I think is a big one for me, for Rangers fans.
Well, give us a call. I'll quickly recap the scores from today, not that you missed a great deal. So Hearts 0, Rangers 0, Motherwell 0, County 0. There's your Premiership. In the Championship, Airdrie 1, Raith Rovers 0, Hamilton Accies 0, Ayr United 2, Livy 2, Dunfermline 0, and Partick Thistle 0, Greenock Morton 0. In League 1, Alloa 0, Queen of the South 0, Cove 1, Annan 3, Inverness 1, Dumbarton 1, Montrose 1, Kelty 1, and Stenhousemuir 2 are both 1. In League 2, Bonnyrigg Rose 0, Peterhead 1, Edinburgh City 1, Stirling Albion 2, Elgin City 4, East Fife 2, Forfar 0, Clyde 0, and Stranraer 2, the Spartans 2. Those are your scores from a Saturday afternoon. Give us a call between now and 6 o'clock. 0141 951 1025. That is the number that you need to set the tone. Let's hear from Philippe Clement. This is what he had to say at full time at Tynecastle.
That I was not satisfied with the first half, for sure, the first half hour, where we lacked intensity in the duels and a lot of long balls, and we didn't win the first duel, also not the second duel, also not the third duel, and because of that we came under pressure by Hearts. On the other side, also with the ball, we were not calm enough, not brave enough also to do the right things with the ball and to be in the right positioning like we want. So it was really important to have 15 minutes during halftime to put things straight, to show them where we were going wrong, and to change that, and that changed a lot. Second half, we took control of the game. We played better football. We get good chances also, and we dominated the second half. So I expect that to happen during the game. That's why we need also experience on the pitch to guide things in moments. So those are things to work on for the future.
Okay, how does his post-match assessment square up with yours? Let us know. Colin's a Rangers fan. He's going to kick us off in this section of the show. How do you look back on today's game, Colin?
Well, honest, I think they've replaced some personnel with average personnel. There's not been any great change. What we were looking for, and speaking to Rangers fans, we were looking for some intent to the board that would allow the manager to then try and piece together a squad that would, give Celtic a proper challenge. Celtic just now, for what I'm seeing, are playing a couple of levels above Rangers, and I don't know that they're going to get there this season. I think the reason that I'm so up about the whole thing is there's no honesty. Every new board that comes in talks about, there was a poor communication the last time with fans. This will be better. We'll be able to, inform fans of kind of, where we're at. See if we're skint and we've not got a lot of money, and that's where we are, then I think that needs to be communicated, because then it's a different mindset. That's not being said. So therefore you're expecting, okay, we need to be better than last year. Celtic will improve, so therefore we need to be better than we were last year. I think Phil's, this is just my opinion, I think he's ended up having a conversation with the board that says, look, here's what you're going to need to work with. And he said, okay, I'll do that, and he's got a new contract out there, but he will come a cropper, because regardless of the situation, the fans will expect better. We've now got a Euro squad that's going to be short, because if we start adding players, they're not going to be able to get involved in that. So we are where we are, and it's very average.
To be fair, quickly, and just for accuracy, you'd be able to add players to the Euro squad before the group stages. The squad just now that's submitted is just for this qualification tie. And again, you don't have to like what you heard, but I guess John Bennett did do a lengthy interview last week and explain the financial situation.
And also, Rangers have signed 7 players. It may be the case that only Conor Barron played today, only one of the 7 signings to get on the pitch at Tynecastle, but they have backed Philippe Clement to a degree, or to the degree that they can. The cost of redoing Ibrox and all of the attendant cost, having to hire Hampden and everything that goes with it, all of that has drained resources as well. But they have backed the manager, and the extension to his contract was a show of belief in the manager. It's now Philippe Clement who has got to justify their decision, and by association, Clement has got to show that Rangers were right to appoint him in the first place.
And we've got to take it, Gordon, that the Rangers manager must be happy with the situation, because if he's not signing a new deal. Look, I think that sometimes you look at the beginning of the season, I think because what's happened with the stadium, the transfers, the pre-season games. Now, I totally agree with the assessment, mostly of it, of the Rangers manager. I thought Hearts were far a better team in the first half. I thought Rangers, once they tweaked one or two things, come into the game and looked a lot better. You look at Dessers, for instance, could have probably had a hat-trick this afternoon. Have they got to improve if they're going to put a challenge into Celtic? Absolutely. It'll be interesting to see if Proper, what he does in the middle of the defence, if still Sterling to come back. I think the big concern, I'm not just picking on individual players, but I don't think many Rangers supporters would have expected to see, for instance, guys like Scott Wright, Ben Davies and people like that in the starting 11 in the first game of the season. And I think that's where the sort of disappointment comes from.
Colin, can Philippe Clement still do more, though? I think a lot of fans are like you, in that they sympathise with the players that he's got. What can he do better? What's he not getting right?
Yeah, well, I don't know that he's not. It's not that he's not getting it right. I think he's trying to work within the limits what he can. But going back to...
But that's my question though then. So is he completely and utterly blameless, or is there a little bit here that he needs to do?
No, he's not blameless, because there was players that weren't good enough last season. I mean, Souttar, every time the ball went over Souttar's shoulder, he was in trouble. Ben Davis didn't cut it last year either. The boy that was playing for the other team in Shankland, you imagine if he was in that Rangers team today, the work that he put in, the trouble that he caused, he done everything bar a goal. But, that would, get that done. That alone would make such a big difference. Again, back to, if you'll let me, who starts building work on a stadium before you've got a winning team? Was that really necessary right now? Before we had a good team a few years ago, they dismantled it. So,
to be fair, again, the club were trying to improve the facilities for disabled fans.
I get that.
That sounds like two completely. I think those are two completely unrelated issues. It's not like they've said, let's do something wholly unnecessary to the stadium and deliberately ignore the playing squad. We're conflating two issues here.
This has coincided. I agree with you, but it happens to have coincided with.
Oh, for sure.
This transition, and the fans are today given cause to wonder whether the transition is taking the right form.
I think this is where Clement is getting a bit of a free ride just now. I think you're right to highlight it, Gordon, or ask the question there of Colin. Is he entirely blameless? Because we had a caller on earlier on, I think it was the second caller, saying that there should be banners saying sack the board. And the boards at football clubs seem to get an awful lot of stick, even when they are backing the manager and they are giving, some transfer fees. They are paying big wages. I know Rangers got a lot of big hitters off their wage bill, but they're still paying big wages. So you expect the product on the pitch to reflect what's been paid week in, week out. And unfortunately for Philippe Clement, that buck stops with the manager. That's got to be shown in a better light, I believe, for Rangers than it was today and it was at the end of last season.
There is still work to go there though, Gordon. It was only Conor Barron today, so that is where Colin and others would say, well, the manager's still kind of dealing with the same stuff. But maybe it's just signs, maybe, that, because see, if there was a clear style and identity, and I know these are becoming buzzwords in football, but if that was there really clearly, and I can see what Rangers are trying to do, but they just don't quite have the players yet, then that would be one thing. But you've spent all afternoon telling me that's not the case.
Yeah, I don't know if Rangers fans will disagree with me watching the game, but I was expecting something different. I was listening to the manager's build-up before this afternoon's kick-off. He was talking about, we're going to see something different, the way we're going to play, and I've been holding players back. I didn't see that. He's talking about I had to pull players out of training because of the tackling, the desire, and I'm thinking, right, okay, there's got to be a change. Is it got to be that right on the front foot? Is it got to be right from the first whistle? It was the same as last year for me. The only thing that was missing, it wasn't Connor Golson playing the long, hopeful balls. I thought second half they played a little bit better. It will take time, but everybody has a go at the board, and I agree with the guys, right? Hugh mentioned it there. The board have brought in 7 players. Now, some of them are questionable because the manager's already come out and said, well, they're not ready yet, which I find astonishing if Rangers are in the position they're in, spending money. They've also, which every Rangers fan's delighted with, extended the manager's contract. So the board have sort of went out their way a little bit. Have they made mistakes with the stadium and everything? Of course they have. That's upset the supporters now, and rightly so. But I just think that it's still early, but there've got to be a big improvement somewhere, because you look at this Celtic squad, they're going to add, they brought in a couple of goalkeepers, a very experienced one. Their pre-seasons went terrifically well. They've got a top-class manager. They know how to win things. I think it's going to be a difficult season for Rangers.
Any Hearts fans out there? Because sometimes you get lost in all this. Give us a call, please. David is in Barhead. What's your take on it all today, David?
Hi, hello there, panel. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. Good.
I'm actually at Aberdeen tonight with my brother. I was watching the game today. Although it wasn't the best of games to watch, at least one thing we're a point better off than we were last season. You know what I mean?
I wondered if someone would make that. Is that cheering you up on a Saturday night?
No, it didn't cheer me up, but I'm just saying, I'm just trying to get that point out there. But the whole idea, I mean, the board are quite rightly standing by Clement. Now, it took Gerrard 3 years to get one trophy out of 9. And Clement came out, we went from 8 points behind to 8 points in front, and then we lost it in January. But I blame the fact that we never signed Shankland. Now, what tells me that Shankland's not coming to Rangers and Tavernier's not going to leave is the fact that Shankland's not on the European list to play in Europe, and Tavernier is. But although it's not an each today, I still think, come on. I mean, let's be honest. This guy won the Belgian League with 2 different teams in 2 seasons in a row. So he knows what he's talking about and he knows what he's saying. And it's up to us Rangers fans just to say, well, come on, he's going, this is his team, this is his season. Get behind him. Now, I don't blame the fact that we never went all out. People seem to forget, we've got a European game got on Tuesday. You really want to risk breaking legs or injuries and all the rest of it before your first European game? That's what, I mean, I heard somebody talking about the stadium. Now, that was a disaster. I mean, anybody's doing building or restructuring a stand, everything should be in place before you actually start work. And I think that's the Rangers went wrong with the Copeland. Now, I'm not happy going to Hampden, but if that's what I've got to do, that's all day. But we're going to get behind the team. We're going to get behind the board. We can't keep on criticising everybody all the time.
I think as long as you don't go over the top, you can criticise all you like. You know, football teams and clubs have to give you a reason to get behind, and you can't be blind.
David said,
loyalty.
Do you really expect the players to give everything today when they've got Dynamo Kiev on Tuesday? Yes, you do actually. It's the first league game of the season. Rangers have won 1 league title in 13 years. The fans expect 100% effort from the first whistle at 12:30 at Tynecastle. The game, if you play for Rangers or Celtic and you are required to play important league games followed by important Champions League European matches, then the fans simply expect you to have the quality and the nerve and the physique to be able to handle all of that. That is just the price of the ticket.
We will never, I fear, will never shake the Lawrence Shankland stuff. He had a decent game, quiet in front of goal by his standards. Can you imagine he got a double today in Ranger the volume of Lawrence Shankland calls, and why is he not a Ranger?
He's become the greatest Rangers player never to have played for Rangers.
And I don't think he will, Hugh, to be honest.
Just quickly to repeat something, to put it right, David, again, these theories about the European squad, that European squad's not nailed on for Rangers for the season. It's for this game. So whether Shankland's on it or Tavernier or whatever, that makes very little difference. But yeah, Gordon, it's still the one that no one can seem to get over.
I think Rangers supporters need to get away from this. I don't think, and unless I'm 100% wrong, but I don't think Shankland's going to be at Ibrox. I think that would have been done and dusted by now. Look, I'm a Shankland fan. Would he score goals at Rangers? All day long. Would he score goals at Celtic? Of course he would, because he's a terrific player and a terrific finisher. But just now, I think Rangers have got to deal with what's in front of them. I totally agree with you. Listen, they're supposed to give their all today at Tynecastle. 100%. Forget about Tuesday night. That'll look after itself. You take care of that once Saturday's done. It's important to get off to a good start today. It wasn't a disaster. It was a bit of disappointment, I think, for Rangers supporters. My concern is the fact that we make a good point. Danilo's in there as a centre forward, came with a big reputation and doesn't even go on the pitch this afternoon. And Rangers fans are giving Dessers a little bit of stick because he missed a few chances. I thought the boy was a bit unlucky on a couple of occasions. But I just think Rangers are a bit short just now. But it's still early and there's no need to panic.
Thanks, David. 0141 951 1025. I said, you Hearts fans, it would be nice to hear from you. It was a surprisingly quiet day in terms of controversy and flashpoints by our usual standards. There was one claim for a penalty, a handball by Conor Barron. I wonder what you made of that incident. And you Motherwell fans, you'll be getting back in the cars and trains and buses now. How frustrating a start to the season was that? Call us now, we'll try and get you on next.
Meet Sage Copilot, your new AI productivity assistant that automates tasks to keep your business running smoothly.
Copilot, help me pay my suppliers this week.
So, if you're a barber like Alfie, it could mean spending more time on what really matters, like more back and sides for his customers.
Oh, perfect. Cheers, Alfie.
Small businesses could save 4 days a month on financial admin. Search Sage Copilot to get early access today. Sage, helping business flow.
The games are over. The talking begins. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboards Open Line.
Well, we're looking back on the opening day of the Scottish Premiership season. Some games, of course, down the divisions as well, but not loads of goals there either, it has to be said. So we're taking your thoughts on the phone. Please, if you can, of course, you're more than welcome to carry on tweeting. But we've even moved through to our nice, shiny live streaming studio as well. So if you're that way inclined, you may be pretty bored on a Saturday night to think, do you know what, listening to these isn't enough. I want to see them in all their glory. Mark Wilson and Gordon Dalziel, I'd like to see you've dressed up for the occasion.
Yeah,
both sitting in your plain white
I didn't know we were coming in the TV studio tonight, so
my big problem is I've got shorts on and it's not a good look.
I know simple, you know, white t-shirt it can be in and it's summer, but I think you two look like you're sitting in your jammies.
Well, him especially, look at the shorts.
I know.
On the side.
I'm trying to throw
wide view on.
I'm trying to get the legs under the table here.
Have you actually got shorts on?
Yeah.
Do you not see it today?
I've been here since midday and I haven't noticed that somehow. But anyway,
I've noticed. I've stood beside him all day.
Hugh Keevins is here. We've got another Hugh on the line who's a Motherwell fan. 0-0 to kick off the season. Hugh, how was it?
My eyes back, that was a dreadful watch. Now, Gordon, I know you were at a game last week, Thistle game, because I walked past you and seen you.
That wasn't great either.
Well, today was probably even worse. There's no fight, there's no passion, there's no pace in the team, no creativity. In my honest opinion now, I was going to give Stuart Kettlewell a good 6 months. I'll give him 6 weeks because he hasn't got a clue how to change a game. He just hasn't a clue of players that sit on a bench that can come on, maybe change something. No, it's just take a defender off, put a defender on. Midfielder come off, who Lennon Miller, unless he was injured, get brought off, and Andy Halliday, who your friend is, should have got hooked a lot sooner because he was absolutely abysmal today. 2 weeks in a row, Andy Halliday's been abysmal, which I'm shocked at. I'm shocked at how bad we are. Ross County were there for they were dreadful as well. Being a Ross County fan must be bad watching that every week. We hammered them 5-0 at the end of the year last year, end of the season, and it should have been 5-0 a day. Given if we put ourselves forward for it, and we didn't, we sat back. It was a dreadful watch. I feel blood coming out my eyes. That's how bad it was.
You were there, and I don't doubt you in the performance. Is there scope to be a bit more understanding of the fact that, look, it's a draw and you take it in the chin, you move on? It sounds, it's the type of reaction you would expect if you just watched a 3-0 defeat, I suppose, is what I'm saying.
Well, no, after Stuart Kettlewell last week came out and he slated the players and says he went in and gave them a hard time, I will work on it this week. I don't know what they've worked on, because there was nothing today. And I mean nothing. That was as bad as I watched today as what it was last week. And last week, you know yourself, was bad.
Ooh, it was.
I don't see any creativity in midfield. It was long balls. There's nothing in midfield. They don't have it. Players getting played out. Lennon Miller playing right mid. Why is he playing right mid? Why is he out in the right hand side? Just baffling.
I mean, I guess this is not to say that it makes it okay, but if you take Blair Spittle out of a midfield and Sam Nicholson's not ready, he's be like the most like for like. I'm not surprised to hear that the midfield's down on creativity. I'm not saying that means everyone's happy about it, but that's going to be the challenge for Motherwell. He's been the most creative player for a couple of seasons and he's no longer there. And by the looks of it, and Stammer gets up to speed, it's going to be tough to have a striker who's as create something out of nothing as Theo Bair was. So maybe this is the reality, unfortunately.
Well, unfortunately for Motherwell and the Motherwell manager, he's not just lost, like Van Veen the last time, the top goal scorer, he's lost the second top goal scorer and the most creative player in your squad, in Spittle, and he has to replace him. I watched Motherwell against Edinburgh, and like Hugh, he stayed for 90 minutes. Unfortunately, I couldn't bear it anymore and I walked out. They had no pace, they had no energy about them, there was nothing about them. I took on board it was a difficult game, it was early into the sort of League Cup type, and the fact it was Edinburgh as well, at home. I watched them against Partick, and I thought Partick were far a better side. And obviously I've not seen the game today. 0-0's a bit disappointing. Look, for me, Motherwell this season, unfortunately, unless something dramatic happens, will be scrapping down near the bottom of the league. No doubt in that.
Lost a lot of quality in Spittle and Theobald. And Stama represents a massive gamble. You know, I'm not sure you come from the Newcastle Jets in Australia and you are up to the Premiership.
I mean, to me, he's been capped by Australia. You know, I don't. We're not talking someone who doesn't, you know, some sort of non-footballing entity here.
No.
Australian international.
He falls into the category of still having to prove himself.
Sure, I'm not saying he's guaranteed,
but
I just wonder if we're being unfair.
And the next game is Rangers, who, you know, at Hampden, they have really, really got to get all 3 points next weekend, or there will be chaos. I just feel that the ground is rushing up to meet Stuart Kettlewell at the moment, and my namesake on the line, Hugh, clearly doesn't believe he's up to it, and that's a dangerous sign after one league game.
The ropiest area last season, Hugh, was the leaking of goals. Is there anything in there, any positives in that looks a bit steadier? Or
I like the look of Liam Gordon. He's solid at the back. He does command the defence, which is really, really good to see. Oxborough, I was crying for him to get his chance last season when Liam Kelly went through his bad spell. Quite a few bad spells, actually. I know he did save us many times, but again, he was getting through it, and I think he'd only get kept there because he was probably the highest wage and the captain. I like the look of Oxborough. His distribution will get better. He's two-footed as well. Liam Gordon at the back, I think it's going to be solid for us. It's just to get a settled defence. McGinn came on today, which I'm really glad to back. Because once McGinn's at the back, it's so assured, it's a lot calmer. So I'm happy with it. McGinn's obviously coming back. You understand that. Yes, you're right about when we lost Spittle. Massive loss. Sam Nicholson, I'm glad he's obviously going to come back.
I've got bad news for you, Hugh.
You're going to see he's out again. It's fun enough. I actually seen him on by the day. I meant to ask him how he got on, but I missed him.
I've got bad news for you. Right on cue. Word from Fir Park this evening. Sam Nicholson will be out for a significant period of time now with a patella tendon injury. So that's a real issue, Hugh, because Blair Spittle was a huge loss. Might be a personal thing. I had sort of just hoped that Sam Nicholson would kind of take that role, and even if he was slightly less effective, that would be the solution, but out for a significant period of time.
That is massive then. We need a creative midfielder because we were bypassing midfield today because there was nobody wanting the ball, nobody coming short even from the attack to come in. Robinson, I think when he gets up to pace, I think he'll be decent. He was putting himself about today, nothing coming off for him.
He did have one big chance, didn't he, Hugh? I know you felt there wasn't that much creativity and it was a mistake from County, but he's through on goal. He scores that. Maybe you've got a different conversation going on right now.
Yeah, but definitely positive. I mean, obviously that's up the other side. That's at the Cooper, so I couldn't really see. I don't know if it's went by, if it's took a deflection.
I think he just slipped it past you.
Yeah. So, but I would like to see him getting more game time, getting fully up to speed with it. But I first thought over the last couple of weeks, it's Kettle's got a big job in his hands. Big job. Well, and the fans won't keep it to the end of the year. That's the problem.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Thank you to Hugh on the line. 0141 951 1025. Try and hear from Stuart Kettlewell at some point. Why don't we hear from Stephen Naismith, since we've been discussing events at Tynecastle? There was like I said, it was the closest we got to any controversy on the opening day. There was a handball incident involving Connor Barron. Some Hearts fans felt they should have had a penalty. The handball rule was quite chaotic last season. This was Stephen Naismith's take on it.
I don't know. I don't think it's a penalty, if I'm honest. I think last season there's a big debate. Willie and the referees and the league have done a lot to try and clear things up and have a conscious effort to stop you asking that question to write about it. So people, you'll stop it, you'll see it, people say it's unnatural, but if you've played the game, there's not much you can do, so I don't think it is a penalty.
We're back to football expectation. He's just defined it, Stephen Naismith. You know, if you played the game, that's not a penalty. The problem the fans have is that last season they were told categorically that's a penalty. Now this season they've been told categorically that's not a penalty.
I actually think the problem was deeper than that, though. I don't think it ever was categoric last season. I think eventually we worked ourselves into a rhythm where you saw them being given and so you expected them to. I think we contradicted ourselves as a league last season, to be honest. So
I think that's what we need, though. Managers like Stephen Naismith coming out, who could have come out and says, "Oh, that last season that was a penalty. We should have got it this season." I think fan bases need to hear from the managers and coaches, you know, common sense like that to get on side with it.
At some point, people need to put their tribalism to one side and try and, you know, accept. Do you want that? We're very bad at it because I've been there. You're caught up for your own team. Do you want that given against you in your own box? And if the answer is no, then you need to make your peace that it won't be a penalty when it happens. However, as Hugh quite rightly says, we can only really assess that in time because today's day one. If that happens next week,
tomorrow,
it needs to be the same. Where you do get in difficulty, and I always say this, no two incidents are exactly the same. So at some point, a penalty will be given for handball, and somebody will say that's the exact same as Conor Barron. Look, you're never going to get that because every incident's different. But by and large, can we keep going with what we saw today? Surely that's good news if we can.
Hopefully, and I think that's the influence of Willie Collin come through. I think he'll do a terrific job. I think it's the right way, and I'm totally agree with Mark and Hugh. I like the fact that the Hearts manager Stephen Naismith come out honest. Not a pit. We've all played the game. Last year the game was ruined with these decisions, week after week after week, and some of them incredible. Yes, you're right, Gordon. It won't happen. It won't be 100% consistent. But if we can just get it up there, I think that'll benefit our game in the long run.
Because there's still different types. I get the point. Of course, his arm was up, but there was the forearm was tucked, if you like, Mark. The elbow was up. You're not getting away with everything in the box. If Conor Barron's hand there is above his head, straight arm up, and it hits his hand, it would have been given as a penalty. If his two arms are straight out in a big star shape and it hits his hand, it's going to be given as a penalty. But just trying to find that balance of fairness, maybe taking proximity into account. Danda was close. He wasn't super close. I don't think that was ruled out on proximity, that one today. It was probably more just kind of where they are.
And you know what, you've got to give credit to the referee, Nick Walsh, who spotted it at the time, didn't think it was a penalty. Obviously VR have a look at it and confirmed that he was right. So the referee got it right in the day, and again we've got to see more of that. Referees been brave enough to make the call and then stick by their decision.
That's the whole point. Referees have got to take responsibility for their actions. Football expectation, two great words that Willie Collin has introduced into the vocabulary. They've got to have football expectation and understand that what happened today was not a penalty, and it should not be a penalty tomorrow.
You're allowed to disagree if you want. Pick up the phone. Frank, though, is going to turn his attention to Celtic. How are you feeling about the season now, Frank?
How are you doing, guys?
Good, thank you.
Long time no call.
Good to have you on then before the season kicks off for your team. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm the original Frankie boy, by the way.
You're the original Frankie boy.
Yeah, the one and only original Frankie boy.
I'll take your word for it.
30 years of calling, but I haven't phoned for a while. Anyway, it's about 2 points. It's about the first one's about that. I was impressed with that guy Taylor today at Hearts. And I was wondering, can he play left back? Because Celtic are looking for a left back to replace the other Taylor.
Gerald Taylor's getting moved on already.
He could play centre forward on the evidence this afternoon.
I know it's only one game, but I was really impressed with the guy. That's my first point.
It was good, wasn't it? We kind of joked about it because we couldn't help but mention him because he was involved all the time, and then he starts throwing the ball in from 80 yards.
I think you can tell, well, you could tell within about 10 minutes what his makeup was and how he looked right away. We were impressed right away, but he kept that going, and then, like you say, you add in the long throw in, you add in the confidence in 1v1 defending, it all combines to make a really good right back. Whether they can play different positions, probably. But if he keeps playing for that, all joking aside, if he keeps playing like that, you know, the players don't hang about at clubs that often. And when you see attributes like he showed today, clubs invest in attributes like that. So if he keeps playing like that, it might not be
the biggest
level.
compliment I can give him, and unfortunately for Cortés to get in, I think Cortés would have probably looked and thought, I'm quite happy to go off here, because he was getting nothing off him. Absolutely. Taylor had him in his back pocket today.
Anyway, let's not get too... Yeah, I was going to say, Frank, take it away.
Yeah, well, my second point about Brendan Rodgers. I've been very angry and annoyed with the lack of signings. Considering Celtic have got more money than Fort Knox, the lack of signings has just been ridiculous. And I watched the Brendan Rodgers press conference yesterday, and his body language, he was very relaxed and very confident that he seemed to think that the bodies are still coming in the door at the end, before the end the window shuts. But I don't know, I just can't see it. Why do they want to stay? What's the big delay?
Well, he keeps on dropping in messages, Brendan. You know, last week in America, the club will not stand still, he said. And then he dropped in the message about the dangers to snooze during the transfer window. So he drops in the messages, but at the same time, he has great confidence in his squad, beginning tomorrow, that they can win all 3 domestic trophies. Where I would say that Brendan has to be careful is that, and he's not alone in this, Ange Postecoglou couldn't do the Champions League with Celtic. Brendan can't do the Champions League with Celtic because they do not have the quality. But as you say, Frank, they have money and they could add quality, and that's what Brendan Rodgers is looking for between now and the closure of the transfer window. And he's got to have it, otherwise Europe will be the same story as last season, the one before that, and the one before that.
We are probably at the stage of over-analysing everything around this situation, but for what it's worth, seeing some tweets that Adam Ida was the only Norwich player that didn't go and applaud the fans after a friendly today, was booed by some small sections, headed straight down the tunnel after the game.
Waving.
No, the opposite. It was head down and out of there.
I totally understand the frustration some Celtic supporters have got, but I have no doubt in my mind Brendan Rodgers will have players, and probably the quality players he wants. Sometimes transfers take a long time, and I know Hugh harps on about 10 weeks. Totally understand that, and I'm sure Celtic supporters will do. So Brendan Rodgers and the CEO have to get together, and they've obviously got a plan going forward. They brought in a terrific goalkeeper of experience that everyone's delighted with. Sometimes it just takes that little bit more time. Yes, ideally would it be great to have them in the building early, without a shadow of a doubt. But I think Brendan Rodgers is very comfortable with the situation. I think he'll know that more players are coming through.
There are 2 worlds for Celtic. The domestic world, in which they have won 12 of the last 13 titles. That's some record. And included among that record, you've had trebles, invincible trebles, this, that, the other. So they are phenomenally successful. And this is another big season for them domestically. And they have a squad that is good. But my only point about the 10 weeks, Gordon, is that if it takes you 10 weeks to bring in Paulo Bernardo, who was there last season anyway, how do the fans have faith in the players of quality in sufficient number to do well in the Champions League being brought in 3 weeks?
Good question. Mark, on the game tomorrow, what type of challenge are you expecting? Obviously Kilmarnock have been playing in Europe quite like this day. Usually you would speculate and debate about which new signings would play. The Celtic team still probably looks like it kind of picks itself. So what are your thoughts ahead of that one tomorrow?
Well, I don't think it'll be any different from Brendan Rodgers. Maybe a wee bit of a quicker tempo to start the season, I think, than what finished the season. But same personnel. Everybody knows they've got used to Brendan over a season. So you'd like to see some form of improvement. I think that was his frustrations last season, that things weren't quite clicking. But definitely in pre-season, they look a different side. They look more dynamic, if that was possible, than last year with the same personnel. So I think Kelly will find it difficult, but Derek McInnes, can be a stuffy lot to play against, and they showed that last season, so it won't be a walkover, but I think Celtic will get the job done. But in terms of transfers, they need a centre forward sooner or later. If that's to be Adam Ida or someone else, if Adam Ida isn't happening and it's going on and on and on, they need to draw a line under it somewhere and move on to another target if they're not getting Ida through the door.
Right, thanks to the original Frankie boy from Springburn for giving us a call. 01419511025. If you call now, we'll try and get you on next.
After they play, you have your say. 01419511025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
We're on the home straight in tonight's Clyde One Super Scoreboard. It's not been the goal fest of a day that you like to kick off the new season with. But having said that, of course, only a couple of games, 3 tomorrow and then 1 on Monday as well. So let's bring in Kenny, who is a Hearts fan. Happy with that, Kenny, or a game you should have won? How do you look back on it?
Hi, evening, guys. No, I think looking back on it, evening to you. I'm just going to hang about for the Fleetwood comments. I thought it was a very, it was. I think Hearts had more of the first half. The possession might say something different, but I think Hearts were the better team in the first half. I think it evened out to a good opening day game.
Yeah, I think that seems like a fair assessment. Nothing to disagree with there.
Can't argue. I think the Rangers manager summed up well. Stephen Naismith felt a wee bit aggrieved that they didn't get the 3 points. I thought Hearts started the game brilliantly. I really do. They were on the front foot. They were causing Rangers all sorts of problems. Suter and Davis at the back were getting dragged all over the place. They had a couple of decent chances. And then I thought second half Rangers come into it and had more of the possession and probably had more of the game. So if you look at it overall, maybe a draw was a fair result.
Yeah, I mean, Kenny, you're one of the previous callers is already wanting to sign Gerald Taylor. Are you impressed with his debut?
Oh, very much. Actually, he really took a shine to me when they had the friendly against Spurs. He did the same thing, flying down the flank with the ball, and even the day when he cheekily put the ball round the guy, ran round him, and then nutmegged the next guy. You know what I mean? He looks a very good find, but I just want Hearts to sign him permanently now. Didn't wait for the loan deal. Get Vargas to talk in the language and tell him to stay.
Yeah, Mark, we always say, especially the further away players come from, and culturally, football-wise, everything, it seems to it would be a big change. You would afford players like that a bit of time, and look, it's just one game. It might sort of revert and look like he needs time, but certainly not on the basis of today.
Well, Kenny's right to highlight the pre-season games, because I opened up the papers today and he was the one maybe to watch, and I thought, well, he's obviously had a good pre-season, but then to back it up in the first game of the season against a winger who I think everybody, or especially myself, I thought Cortez would have been a real danger, a real thorn in the side of Hearts today. He dealt with him with ease. I didn't know he was on loan, actually, Kenny. So he's on loan for a season. I thought Hearts had bought him outright. So again, that's
on loan for a year and an option to buy.
Yeah, but
with an option to buy. Right, okay.
Thing.
So that's the plus point, that you've got an option to buy, but certainly on today's outing and some of the pre-season games, he looks a find. It's just about that consistency. Keep that going.
Where was he when you played Fleetwood?
Shut up.
Hugh's the type of guy that will disregard pre-season results when it suits his argument, but lean right into them when it suits his argument.
You see, Kenny, I think it's ridiculous that Hibs lose to Kelty. I think it's ridiculous that Rangers lose to Birmingham. I just have this fatal habit of saying what I think.
I mean, Kenny, admired, that's one word. Lawrence Shanklin, Kenny, it just rumbles on. Is he going to be a Hearts player in a month or so?
I think he'll still be here. I mean, was he close to turning 29?
Yeah,
29.
I think he's 29.
I don't think Lawrence is going to go anywhere. He's got a very young family, unless he got the offer to Saudi Arabia. You know what I mean? But I think what people forget is you've got to like it at a club. And I think Lawrence. I think they're a great bunch of guys. I mean, me and my kids have sneaked in a few times at Durham and watched them training, and we get invited over to meet them, and they're just a great bunch of guys, and that's what people forget. I mean, Gordon and Mark will know that. If you're with a good team, it doesn't matter if you just want to be with a group of guys that would die for each other.
Next Saturday, actually, is his 29th birthday. There he goes. So he scores next week. Bear that in mind. It's always a good start to throw in. Thank you very much to Kenny, who is a Hearts fan, understandably happy with with what he saw opening day?
Well, yeah, of course, understandable. I think your only gripe if you're a Hearts fan is in that first 45 that you didn't get a goal, and Hugh touched on it within the game as well, that when you've got that territory and you're creating little opportunities against Rangers and against Celtic, against the bigger side, you've got to take one. And especially when you've got Shankland in your side and you've got the creative force of Danda, you've got to take one of those opportunities to get your neck in front. So that would be your only gripe. But I thought what the football Hearts played was good, especially first half. They were controlled, they were measured as well, passed the ball a bit at the back, they didn't just go direct all the time. So they can be happy with what Stephen Naismith's side served up this afternoon.
And also, Mark, what impressed me with Hearts is when I looked at their bench, how strong a squad they've got. They've got good quality to come off that bench. They can change games. I think they're looking for a big season at Tynecastle. I totally agree. I thought that they had a few chances today that they passed up, and then second half I thought Rangers come well into the game. It was a terrific 0-0 for the start of the season, I've got to say. Not like Fir Park where Hugh come on and said it was a total bore of a 0-0, but you can't say that about Tynecastle this afternoon.
No, I don't think that would be the case. Thank you to Kenny. 01419511025. The Dundee derby returns Mark Wilson tomorrow.
Oh, the big one.
A welcome addition to the top flight.
I think it is. I think we need all the derbies we can get in our top flight, and all the big clubs in there certainly make our league a better place. So tomorrow you'd expect a sellout. I've played in loads of them, and my full competitive debut was in one, a sellout Tannadice. They're great occasions. And, you know, it sometimes gets lost in this part of Scotland because we're so concentrated in the west. But over in Dundee, they're big occasions. And they usually serve up quite an entertaining football match. But it's going to be a big step for Jim Goodwin's side. He's got some experienced players in there, no doubt. But Tony Dock's side last season were very good. Now, I get he's lost a few players within that. But again, he's brought in a couple that he's
brought Simon Murray and kept Luke McCowan and guys like that. Yes, Owen Beck and Boateng.
In his understated way, Tony Docherty was one of the managerial success stories of last season. To emerge from Derek McInnes's shadow after all those years, and to stand up in his own right and get Dundee top six, and to have made the inspired signing of Simon Murray, he will love it tomorrow. And I think that Dundee will win that game, and I think Tony Docherty will have a good season again with Dundee. Jim Goodwin has, he's got them up, and that's to his eternal credit. I think he's got a fight to keep them up.
And quickly, another game tomorrow as well, Hibs St Mirren.
Yeah, St Mirren, you've seen the scenes in Paisley on Thursday night, Gordon. Full house, they're marching down to the stadium. They're in a good place, St Mirren. I watched a lot of the game. They've got a good squad as well. The manager's built a good squad there. Some good experienced players as well. Hibs under David Gray, it'll be interesting to see how they do this season. First time as a manager. I'm looking forward to it. Another bumper crowd, as Mark says, the Dundee derby, and then you're looking at Celtic at Parkhead at 4:30 against Kilmarnock.
Keep an eye on that one. Bill Foley, major investor at Hibs, having said, I don't know why they appointed him the manager. They should have listened to me. So,
is that what he said?
Well, yeah,
sort of. Are you paraphrasing there?
No,
it sounded good.
He said Malky Mackay as director of football and David Gray as manager. He said that they would not have been his appointment.
There you go. There we are. We're almost there, Hugh Keevins. Why don't you sum up today's action for us?
I think in short order, the tone has been set for the remainder of the season, because Rangers straight away dropped 2 points at Tynecastle. The incentive is there for Celtic to go 2 points away from Rangers tomorrow against Kilmarnock at Celtic Park after they unfurl the flag. The race has started. The gun has gone off, and now the Rangers fans are wondering what lies ahead, and the Celtic fans are anticipating a party ahead. Now you've only got 38 matches to play Celtic and 37 matches to play Rangers.
Exactly, and just like that, we are back. We've missed you greatly on a Saturday afternoon. It was a long and weary summer coming off the back of a disappointing Euros, but the league football is back, and we are delighted. We're here for it right throughout the season. There will be so many twists and turns, so many talking points, and we cannot wait. The latest, the next instalment, I should say, comes tomorrow. 3 big games, as the guys have alluded to. They will be here. They are hard-working professionals. I'm off to the Dundee derby, so Andrew McLean will look after you, I've no doubt. And then we resume Monday night, 6 o'clock. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday night in the company of the GBX. They'll speak to you tomorrow. I'll speak to you Monday. Enjoy your evening.
Super Scoreboard Podcast with Lookers Audi. Looking to sell your Audi? Contact them today for a no-obligation quotation.
Meet Sage Copilot, your new AI productivity assistant that automates tasks to keep your business running smoothly.
Copilot, help me pay my suppliers this week.
So, if you're a barber like Alfie, it could mean spending more time on what really matters, like more back and sides for his customers.
Oh, perfect. Cheers, Alfie.
Small businesses could save 4 days a month on financial admin. Search Sage Copilot to get early access today. Sage, helping business flow.